Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show, your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk. Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and the Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna, and the best co-host anyone could ask for, Cuervo. We cover it all. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports. Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on here in our 11th season. Looking for our 12th in February. Make sure you join us for that when we do it. We're about ready to kick that off just a few months from now. That being said, of course, that's the name of this show. We're at week number 11 of the NFL as we get all set and ready to look at the games that are going on today. We did have a game on Thursday Night Football. It was the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seattle Seahawks got the victory in that one. So those that had Seattle for their first game of the week are one up on everybody. I am one up on everybody, as well as Cuervo and the boss, DC Dennis Clark, is one up. So looks like we didn't get a pick from Bryce, so we can't give him. This one was too close. I wouldn't know what he would have picked. So I can't even say I know that. So I can't even say like, oh, I know he'd pick Seattle. Wouldn't know, so we can't give him that one. So that was on Bryce. And Tarvin was on Arizona. But now, that being said, of course, the boss, Dennis Clark, has slid. And by the way, this was a monumental avalanche of the store. Oh, my gosh. Down. But that's okay. Led all the way up for 10 weeks. Now takes the slide behind Tarvin in the standings. So let's do that. Let's go to the standings. 95 and 51 is Brian Tarvin. He is in first place, followed by the boss, Dennis Clark, at 92-54. Then it gets interesting. Bryce at 91 and 55. Then Cuervo at 89 and 57, and I gained 3 last week. I get 3 last week. Thank you very much. And I moved up. I'm still in last, but I'm only 1 game behind Cuervo now. I'm at 88 and 59, slowly moving up in the standings of the Couch Potato Sports Show. Pick 'em that we do each and every year. So Cuervo is family doing. This guy drove from California to Tennessee. Now, he's not going to see the Tennessee Titan game or anything, as Tennessee is actually on the road, actually. They're playing Baltimore. But he went to see his mama. He said he'll try to join us in a little bit in the final hour, the 3rd hour of the Couch Potato Sports Show. Also, let me let you know, Bryce may be here, may not, have not heard from him, but I do got his picks as well, so we'll be looking at that. Also, Thursday, Couch Potato Sports Show, Thanksgiving show, a Thanksgiving tradition happens on Thursday, 9:30 a.m. on Thanksgiving. We will be kicking off the Couch Potato Sports Show, talking about the 3 games that are going to be going on, and we're going to be set for that. So I'm excited about that as we continue the Thanksgiving tradition here on the Couch Potato Sports Show by going live on the major holiday. Now, that being said, that's the name of this show. Let's do this.
Dig it, sucker!
I know I can. In case you didn't know, I can dig it, sucker!
Dig it, sucker!
And it's Bryce from Brooklyn. I'm so glad he's in early here on a Sunday morning. Good morning, my man. Look at him, all shiny, looking up clean, and looking all good looking and scaring all the other people away because he's so good looking. But it's good to see you. How you doing, my friend? Good to see Bryce from Brooklyn.
Sonny, always good to see you, man. I'm always flattered by the intro. Always.
I love that. It just makes me smile. So yeah, always good.
Oh, look at the sweater you got on.
I wore this just for you today. So my Jacksonville Jaguars are in action at home.
It is time for another edition of Steelers Jaguars. Because 2 years ago that game was so good to watch.
Yeah, so good. 2 years ago when they were just on the beginning downslope of their crappy football team that they are, and it's no different today. Well, we might as well start about talking about that game because obviously it's your team. Obviously, by the way, just to let you know, and this is what I'm putting out the prediction. So that's right, breaking news. Breaking news. I'm going to say it, and I might be the only one. Claypool's going to win the Rookie of the Year. That guy, I'm telling you right now, there's lots of rookies that are out there, and I'm not doing this just because Bryce is here, okay? I'm doing this mainly because I've seen what this guy's capable of doing. Now, granted, he has one of the best ever throwing in football. He has, Ben Roethlisberger getting the ball. That's always a good thing. But what he's done with the ball, and here's another thing that people don't understand. It's not just Ben Roethlisberger throwing the ball. It's this.
Don't hold back.
Guy knows how to run with the ball after the catch. He's one of the best yakety-yak out there. And, every time he catches, he gets at least 10 to 15 more yards as well up on top of it.
Sonny, I appreciate that love, but Claypool's not getting any national love for Rookie of the Year. They put out ESPN put out their list a little bit ago. He wasn't even on it.
That's why I'm mentioning it.
Yeah, that silly list. But in the defense of the list, I think your Rookies of the Year are going to be Burrow or Herbert. Those are probably going to be your Rookies of the Year.
That's because they're quarterbacks.
And I get it. But Chase Claypool is definitely making a case for Rookie of the Year. The guy's a playmaking machine. He's a physical freak. But more importantly, I think what is more advanced than what the front office thought they were going to get was his ability to run routes. His ability to stack corners. He didn't really show that in college. But I think this is the thing. I don't think people understand this. You have to look at a guy, and you can never forget upside, because what's his work ethic like? What's his attitude like? Yeah. Because why do you ask those questions? How will they take to pro coaching? And people that soak in pro coaching and are mentally tough enough to take it, they can make these leaps in their game that you didn't think they could.
Yes.
Because I know this isn't an NBA show, but I'm a big Knicks fan, and I also went to University of Dayton, and I love that they drafted Obi Toppin, because Obi Toppin is one of these guys. He's got great athleticism, a little bit on the defensive end, but the fact that he always played with effort, with smarts, and he's extremely coachable with his talent means that he can make up that gap maybe faster than people think. And I think it's the same in football. So it's a little surprising, because Chase Claypool had some deficiencies on the film that people didn't think he'd be able to pick up so fast. But when you can take to the coaching and you're smart, you can pick up the ground.
I agree with you 100%, because when they're able to hit the ground as what they do, they just have, it just seems like the understanding of the speed, knowing what was going to happen. And that's one thing about Burrows and also Herbert. They picked up on the speed of the NFL. Now, Tua seems like he has as well. The simple fact of the matter is that's not easy for me to admit. And by the way, I've decided I'm still not going to be on the Tua thing until Brian Tarvin, friend of the show. I'm not going to anoint Tua until my buddy decides to kick Trump to the curb. So when that happens, that's when I will go ahead and I will bring Tua to the front line. So I'm only going to do one thing here. I'm just on the dumb side of things here. I know, but there's something that tells me that I might be able to get on the right side of this issue. I don't know. The rest of the season, there's still 7 more weeks left to go in the NFL. Okay, so there's plenty of time to fall on your face. Maybe not be successful. So maybe that's it, and we'll go from there. But here's something right here that James Steel City Storm is his nickname. He did have a lot of and not only that, he played. If I'm not mistaken, Claypool was a guy that went to Canada. Okay, and he got some work
from Canada.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, everything that comes along with it, I think, is really good. As far as certain guys that you can look at and go, interestingly.
Yeah, and this is just me. I'm not saying this is true. I think this is also, I love Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh. I think he's a really good player. But the Claypool thing, I think what happened with Pittsburgh too, I wouldn't be surprised if behind closed doors, they looked at DK Metcalf, they passed on him because they thought, upside guy, ton of athleticism, but can he run routes? Can he pick up the nuances of the passing game? We're going to go with someone who we feel is more polished. And I think they saw, you got to be very careful doing that with work ethic guys. Guys that are humble like DK Metcalf and are going to work, and are physical freaks. You better be careful not taking those guys because the things you think they can't do, when you coach them right, they end up being able to do. Pittsburgh shouldn't have passed on DK Metcalf. He should be a Steeler. So I think when you look at Chase Claypool, they were like, okay, we got a similar type of guy, not the same, but an upside guy with all the intangibles, smarts, athleticism, can perform because he has the talent, size. Let's pick this guy and mold him.
And I think that is one of the things that they have done to put themselves in a better position as well. Claypool is, he's moldable. I think that, you can look 100%. At him and definitely see what he's capable of doing. But as we look at now,
can you imagine DK Metcalf on the Steelers right now?
No, I can't.
I wanted them to draft that guy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a tough one because of the fact that what the actual possibilities could be with the guy on your team. My gosh, could you imagine Big Ben having the Antonio Brown back, the real number one? Listen, I love Claypool, but I don't even think anybody thinks of him as the number one there either. So to have that real number one, the guy that stands out and says, yes, this is going to be what we'll be looking at for the future. Now, Claypool, will he turn into one of those big guys? I think they are. But looking at, interestingly enough today, you're looking at Pittsburgh and what they have been doing on the offensive side. They're passing for 252 yards a game. And right now, still Schuster has the more yards, but the guy that's having more of the impact right now is Claypool with the touchdowns and things of that sort. Being able to find somebody that'll be able to do that. And you think about the Jaguars, okay? Jaguars, they can't even get out of their own way. And this is not going to help. I mean, because when you look on the side, Gardner Minshew is I don't know if he's going to be ready to go. They're going to be playing.
He's out.
Yeah, so they're, I didn't even look at this game. I'll be honest, I didn't even look at what could be end up here because the Jaguars have a snowball chance in hell to win this game, and mainly the defense is going to eat them up big time. I mean, big time. As much as I want to work the game up and I put this on because I'm cold today, so it's more the fact that I'm just trying to keep warm. Just happened to be a Jaguar hoodie, so as far as where the Jaguars are, even the next 2 years look grim for them right now because they don't have a base that you can build on right now. It's just a bunch of players, and that's not going to be – there's no base on it. And I don't see the positive moving forward unless they do something, in the offseason to bring in some guys and bring in – but we've seen them let them have all the good guys fly away out of the team. So – not look for it, but I'm looking forward to the Steelers and what they can do for the next 3 years. And then you have to ask your question, the Steeler fan question, how long do you keep Ben Roethlisberger around? that's the big question. And what are the Steelers going to do about it? Are they going to address it in the draft? Are they going to go and look, elsewhere? Maybe find the hot hand that maybe you can pull in.
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple things. One, I would say the Tennessee Titans tried to defend the Steelers, making Claypool the number one receiver, and they defended him like a number one. That was a terrible defensive decision because the number one receiver on this team is Juju Smith-Schuster.
Without question.
Because Juju Smith-Schuster, and from day one, even though he was getting deep, making a lot of plays early, Juju Smith-Schuster is Hines Ward. Right. You have to treat him in your offense like he is Hines Ward. He can do a lot of different things. He is a very unique player and a unique receiver like Hines Ward was. So he plays that role. In terms of what the Steelers will do with Big Ben, we'll see. I don't know when the bottom drops out for Big Ben. Like, he's such a physical freak that I don't know when that goes. And then when it goes, what supplements that? Does he become the ultimate game manager where you could get 3-4 years out of him still? Where he's not making mistakes, he gets it to the right guy, but he can't really get the ball downfield because right now it's not his arm strength. His arm is zipping. It's like, when does he lose that? I don't know. Yeah. So we'll see. In terms of the Jaguars today, I'm going to go opposite, Sonny. I think I was wrong last week. I thought that game was going to be a lot closer, but that's me. I should know, because I always tell people, don't trust the Bengals. I was wrong. You can't trust the Bengals because they had 2 weeks to prepare, and I just thought they were going to come out and throw a bunch of things, and they looked awful in the beginning of the game.
I don't think you were necessarily wrong about that. I think with the fact that they did have the bye, and with the upside of what you see in Joe Burrows, you thought maybe that would be able to sustain him into at least that week.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
That 1 week makes a big, huge difference.
Yeah.
When you have the bye, and you see teams almost turn around a lot when they come off of the bye, and they end up a different football team. And so I don't necessarily criticize you for that pick. In fact, when you made the pick, I was like, God, what does he know? He's pissing me off. He knows something because I'm not going to pick him. So that was the one of the things I was thinking. So more on the fact that I thought I would, I thought that was going to be one of the games that were going to be much better, and it didn't turn out that easy.
And it didn't turn out that way, which is somewhat disappointing. Yeah. It's the same thing with Baltimore. For them to come out of a bye week against Pittsburgh and for Lamar Jackson to throw those interceptions and turn the football over, that's what makes you go, you had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and you make those plays. So, but okay, so to the game in Jacksonville. I actually think Jacksonville's offense could keep them in this game. I like Robinson. Love that guy. I would take that guy on my team. DJ Chark, I would take that guy on my team. I would love to have Chark in this receiving core. I think he's an interesting guy. They've got some offensive linemen still left over from 17 and 18, so they can, Pittsburgh has always had problems with this team. So I think if the defense doesn't show up or makes too many mistakes, the offense can make some plays. Where I think you're going to have a problem is defensively trying to stop Pittsburgh. They've made a concerted effort this week to focus on the run game, which has been terrible. They got to get it together. You might see some adjustments. You might see some downhill running, just straight, quick hit, put your foot in the ground and go. If they can get some semblance of that and Ben is Ben, your defense may have a hard time today stopping him.
I don't know. Glennon in. I think I'd rather see Glennon in at the quarterback position for the Jaguars.
Pittsburgh the last 2 times they played.
And that was the reason why I said
that.
Interesting. It's more in the fact of knowing what a guy can do. Okay, you stick a guy in there that's had success against the Jaguars, regardless of what the personnel is. I think that you can make a play for Glennon to start this football game. Not that it would help. Not that they would even win this game. Okay, because they've lost other things in the offseason that when you do throw a Glennon in that does have the experience and maybe he has some weapons, they're still not going to be enough on the defensive side to stop the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. It's not, and here's the thing, Bryce. It's not even going to be close. I mean, the Jaguars Jaguars are going to get skull drugged today, especially if Juju Smith-Schuster gets open. Never mind Claypool. Claypool is a great weapon from the 20-yard end. I mean, in the red zone, that guy is a monster, and you don't have any way of defending it right now. And that's the bad thing about going into this game and hoping that you'll see what will end up. Yeah, there it is, the skull drug, right? Getting skull drug all over the place.
Fans should know that the Jaguars and Steelers, these games are always tough in some way. Like, we have a hard time beating these guys. So I'm not going to go with the skull drag.
You know what though? And I made mention of this after they played down to the Dallas Cowboys, okay? They played down to their opponent, and in the fourth quarter, the Jaguars might be within earshot. Not today. You know what? Wow! Just as I said it, it popped up. Not today. Now, if Glennon starts this game, maybe I'll give him a little more of a hype. He's going to be a better quarterback than Luton or Loudon or whatever the hell his name is. Because guess what? I didn't know who he was when they put him in. So there you go. If I don't know who you are, then you are really in a lot of trouble. So the Jaguars don't have a snowball chance in hell of winning this. But now, when you made what I earlier in the show, when you were making the comments, I want to go to that game. That you were talking. Let's head on over to the Tennessee-Baltimore game. This one here's got the potential because you've got 2 6-3 teams that are going at each other. And I got news for you. This is not the margin week, but it's going to be one of the better ones in reality. Yeah.
So just to end the Steelers side of it, I got the Steelers pulling it out 27-13. That's my score today. I think it's an official.
I'm gonna write that down. So when they get the skull drug, it might be worse than that. So anyway, there you go. But look at if you look at last week, the Titans floppy. And you said it better than the way they defended that game. That was the one that they got handled by Indianapolis. That defense came in and really shut them down. So, but in the main reason, when you don't have Derrick Henry just tearing it up, right now at Jacksonville, that means you're going to take that back. Tennessee. Right. You have to take the step back and realize who you got at quarterback. Listen, Ryan Tannehill has turned it around. Ryan Tannehill looks like a different quarterback. But one of the things that Ryan Tannehill can do is go back to Miami Tannehill. And that's what you're always afraid of when you got a situation where they don't have a running game or they can't get the running game going. You're going to have to put it up on the shoulder. So in reality, this game, especially this game, they're both 6-3. We need to see a lot of Derrick Henry in this game, whether it's play action from Tannehill so they can temporarily freeze to get the wide receivers open in this game. But Indianapolis's defense, we've been talking about for the last four weeks. Okay, we're actually talking about the Indianapolis Colts having a defense, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Ravens, Titans. Well, this is old AFC North football. I'm looking forward to this game. This is going to be an interest. It's going to be a tough football game. The Titans are not scared of the Ravens. I don't feel their defense though. I don't feel their defense is strong. But let me tell you something. The Raven offense though has regressed. Yeah. So you're not playing the Ravens offense of last year. So the Titans may be able to keep up. And then defensively, you have Ngakoue. He's there. Right. But the last time the Ravens saw Derrick Henry, it was a downhill show. He was running through them like water. So can they, they have Calais Campbell now. Can they stop that? They can still run the football with Derrick Henry and stress your defense to insane levels. I don't know. This is tough for me because I think it's going to be a close game. I know I have the Ravens in this game only because I think it could become a shootout and the Ravens can possess the ball against the Titans and have one more possession where they can close it out.
Mm-hmm. look at the point differential in reality for the Titans. It's at plus 14. Okay. What usually happens to those kind of teams? They go on a down slope. Okay. And we've seen that the last couple of weeks. We have seen that in the Titans. So when you've got the I guess if you want to call it the regression of who they are, what's going to happen is that the Raven offense is going to have to take advantage of that regression if they're going to do it, because you look at right now, the Titans are the 24th ranked defense. And listen, when you are a team that's vying for a playoff position, you can't have the 24th ranked defense in the NFL compared to where they were in a couple of weeks ago. It's different. So we've seen the regression of what they are, and this is a team that's going to have to make that step to get out of it. And I don't know, these games. Oh man. These are those knockdown, drag out guys and teams that are so much fun to watch. But when I look at this one, I'm going to put it all on the linebacker, Jaylen Brown. Okay, he's going to be tested by Baltimore he's going to be in the middle of the field. He's going to have to make the decision: is it Lamar or is he going to help? So those are going to be really huge when you look at it. So Brown right now is 117.3 passer rating when targeted. So you look at it, the Titans, they could be in trouble there. So look at that. But there's something about when teams are fighting to find out who their identity are. And here's the thing I know. Jim Harbaugh, I don't trust in this game because I think they think they're going to win this game. But I look at Vrabel as being the guy that's going to be the difference maker in this game, putting guys in the right position, calling the right plays, and things of that sort. Right. So I'm actually hanging on Tennessee in this game, but because we have seen also a little bit of the shift of the Lamar Jackson, MVP, and turning into this is what running quarterbacks turn into. And listen, it is what it is. Passer rating of 95.6 this season. So the league mark is around 94, so he's a little bit higher than that, but his numbers were higher last year. So they're going to have to straighten that out. And I don't know if they're going to get it with this defense from, listen, the Titans have a very good defense. They have to figure out offensive side of the ball. And that means put Derrick Henry in the game and see what he can do.
See, I look at that differently. I think the Titans have a really good offense and have a suspect defense. And so I think Baltimore has a suspect passing offense, very suspect, but their run offense with their freakish quarterback is elite. They have a very good defense. And they're better at Tennessee in the special teams. Baltimore's always tops the special teams. They have an all-world kicker, a very good punter. So, when you look at Gostkowski, he's shaky. So I think Baltimore is the better overall team, and they get it done at home in Baltimore and beat Tennessee. But it's going to be a close game because Baltimore's passing offense is it's a mess.
Yeah. Think about this is that the Titans need this game because I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this up for you to take a look at it. It's the wild card rankings right now. And wait, did I upload it? Yeah, I did. Here it is. I'm just in the wrong area. Right here. Here's the wild card. Take a look at the wild card where it's at over in the AFC. Okay, right now, obviously your guys are there, but there's Indianapolis right there. They're kicking it as far as their division is concerned. It is now about the wild card for Tennessee as well as Baltimore because they're going to have to fight for it. Baltimore holding on to it, but right there's Tennessee. So I'm loving where we are in the season. I when I first heard about the 7-team playoff, I was totally against it. But now when we're seeing these numbers right there with guys, hell, we're even talking Cleveland, has a shot at the wild card now. So I don't know. This game is going to be all important for both of those football teams because if you think about it now, I don't know if it'll happen if Miami will lose, but the Raiders, inconsistency for the Raiders, all right, I'll admit it. The Dolphins have won 3 in a row to get to that 6. So I'll admit that. Whether or not they'll hold on to it with what's coming their way, whether it is Tennessee, whether, hey, if New England figures it out with Cam Newton, they got a win that they shouldn't have got. I think it was on Monday night. So, they're slowly moving up. So it should be interesting to see how this AFC wildcard race runs. And this is one of those good games that will have guys move up and down in those standings right now.
Yeah, I mean, things are going to start shaking out. I mean, in terms of the Chiefs, they've got a tough game today, but it's like they've got to win to keep pace, and that could, I mean, that number 1 seed could come down to the wire. So We'll see how that goes. But this is a crucial game. You're right. Tennessee has to have this, but Baltimore has to have it too. You're going to be off of a short week. You got to go to Pittsburgh. We'll talk about that game, on Thursday. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for that. Yeah, I can't wait for that, but we'll get to that. So they need this game too. And I just feel their position overall. If this was in Tennessee, I might be different. But it's in Baltimore, and I just feel Tennessee as a team overall is not as good. They're trending in the wrong direction.
I think I'm with you on that, especially the trending in the wrong direction. But hopefully they can. If they're going to turn it around, it's got to be this game, because you're going to see a lot more of these type of games headed your way for the rest of the season. They're going to be important games. Every game now is important, especially looking at the wild card and where it is. So, by the way, what do you think about the Cardinals-Seattle game on Thursday night? Who'd you have, by the way?
Oh, you know what? I didn't pick. I forgot.
Yeah, but did you get an opportunity to watch the game, especially after the Hail Mary? The Buffalo Bills are still.
Yeah, I watched
that out.
I watched some of this game. It was interesting. The Seattle made them play at a different tempo. Their defense played actually well. Listen, Carlos Dunlap is a good player.
Yes, he is.
And I think adding a player like that can rush from a 4-man front is good. I thought that play, boy, he whipped that right tackle. Oh, that's brutal to watch.
Oh,
you don't even give yourself a chance. That's like, it's one thing to lose like that. It's another to get sacked on 4th down. That was
killer. That's killer. I mean,
that just can't happen. But that's what Carlos Dunlap does. Like, look. Pittsburgh has always done well against Carlos Dunlap in Cincinnati because they've always paid attention to him. So they know how good he is. So they've done well. But you leave him one-on-one, he's good enough to make a play, and he whooped that right tackle like a drum.
All day.
On the game-winning play. So kudos to them. That's a game Seattle absolutely had to have.
Oh, absolutely. Especially since we're talking, we're giving high praise to the quarterback, possible MVP candidate, and he needed that game. Not only that, he needed it within the division of football that are going to have 3 teams in the playoffs. I'm sorry. That's probably what's going to happen.
Great division. Best, one of the, right now, best division in football, because San Francisco is better than Cincinnati.
Right.
So,
well, and think about this. I mean, the injuries that are coming out of San Francisco right now, killing them. Yeah. Is the reason why they're on the outside looking in on that 7 on the NFC side of the wild card as well. So that being said, let's say that. I mean, so the games that I like to choose for Bryce are the ones, and this is the one I'm going to choose because I love a guy, but we're not going to see him. We're talking about the Detroit Lions and the Carolina Panthers. And I'm going to tell you, this is a game when you think about it, but guess what I heard? And it's the thing, as soon as I heard it, I said Panthers. But I also didn't realize that Teddy Bridgewater might not be playing today or might be out.
Really?
Yeah, he's questionable. So that's always. But Matthew Stafford on his throwing hand has a ripped tendon on his throwing hand. Game over. Listen, Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But he tried to do this once before, in case you didn't know, and he just had a disastrous game. And you don't think that the Panthers are going to unload on him, knowing about this injury? It's going to be blitzomania coming from the Panthers, and I don't know if the quarterback Stafford's going to have enough time to throw the football. He's going to have a lot of people hanging on him.
This is interesting. So my initial thought wants to think that Bridgewater will play. If he can go, he'll play.
Right.
Same thing with Stafford. I don't think DeAndre Swift is going to play in this game. So I don't know. I got the Panthers winning this. Sometimes I don't trust the Lions. If Kenny Galladay was playing, but I think the Panthers have just enough. And here's the thing: if the Panthers make you score with them, because they've got a great receiving duo with Mike Davis, who's filled in well. If it becomes an offensive game, I just think the Panthers have more firepower than the Lions. Right. Even though I love Matthew, like if I had to choose between Matt Stafford and Teddy Bridgewater, I'd go with Matthew Stafford. So I would go with Matthew Stafford. So say it again.
Healthy, right?
Yes. All things being considered. Yeah. So, but he just doesn't have the weapons, particularly at receiver. And the Panthers can put up points because they've got good receivers. So I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Panthers too. But I mean, for the last 3 weeks, we've seen, Matt Patricia's job fail. I mean, one of them they should have never even come close to winning. Never mind the ending of the game. And Matt Patricia now is sitting with a football team that's got 4 wins. Okay, now the Panthers only got 3, which I would have loved to see more of as far as the record is concerned. They're 3-7. They're at home. But again, I don't know what we're going to get. Teddy Bridgewater banged up a little bit as well. So I don't know. Sometimes I see the name, and then I think greatness, and then I realize who he is. Adrian Peterson. We're not necessarily really getting the Adrian Peterson that I think that they signed up for. Let's be honest. I think they expected more from him, even though he's a little bit old and over the hill and stuff like that. I still think that they expected more from him coming into this when they grabbed him up. Danny Amendola. I mean, listen, it's a retread out of New England. They let him go for a reason, or he'd still be there. So, and then I look on the other side of it, and I see Carolina, and I see potential. I don't see potential as far as the Lions are concerned, but they have a way of getting back into a game and making you look stupid. And then they'll turn around.
That was terrible. Crazy knucklehead is terrible.
They'll be completely terrible. And you don't talk Jekyll and Hyde. That's the Detroit Lions this year.
Yeah, Matt Patricia, just inconsistent. I don't believe in him as a head coach. I think I'm not going to say Matt Patricia is a bad coach. I just don't believe in him as a head coach. And there's a difference. I think the Lions should go Bieniemy shopping at the end of the year. I think he'd be a nice fit for them. He would set the tone. Nice. Yeah, Bieniemy is the top. To me, Bieniemy is the top coach on everyone. Should be the top coach.
But will they pay him though? I mean, they're gun shy right now. They paid Patricia thinking that he was the second coming. So will they be gun shy? Listen, the Detroit Lions are almost like the Chicago Bears. They don't know how to spend money when they got it. So that is my worry. I find it very funny. Just go back into the history of what has happened with Detroit. The last coach, I see his face right in front of me. Help me out. Who was the last coach?
Caldwell.
Huh?
Caldwell. He should still be coaching that team.
The reason why they got rid of him is because Caldwell wasn't getting the job done defensively. Okay, that's the reason why. At least that's the reasoning. They haven't gotten better in 3 years that Matt Patricia has been there. And, and they might have been, listen, right now, the AFC North, look at the Chicago Bears. They start off hot. I stuck a fork in them. Even, by the way, my co-host was pissed off at me big time because I stuck a fork in the Chicago Bears. Yeah, I did. I stabbed that biatch really hard too. They are done, in reality. And your coach and your quarterback do not get together, that is what you end up, and that's why you gotta what's that hammer that has the thing where you meat tenderize it and just pound the hell out of it? The Bears are that meat that is getting pounded. Listen, and ever since this thing came out, they haven't won a game since. All right, so I'm telling you right now, and they have opportunities to win games, and they didn't do it. So they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And they're in a lot of trouble. But wait, where was I? I got off on a tangent.
The Bears, yeah. I went on a Sonny ride, not a huge one, but a little one.
I might have to take this off now. I'm getting a little warm, I'm getting hypertension kicking in, getting a little red in the face. So I might change my color of my face here. You notice I'm a little brighter today, and the $10 purchase of one of these new things that make you look.
Oh, really? One of these desk lights? Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's for business. It's for people who do exactly what we're doing. So I figured $10. What we're saying I could do, throw it away in a week, and it works pretty good. So I'll change, and I can change the color of my face. It's a little red now because I started talking about the Bears. So
listen, we love Cuervo. Cuervo's Bears, their offense is a mess.
Oh, damn.
It's sad to watch because I'm telling you, at the skill positions, it's not that bad. And let me tell you, that's another place where Bieniemy would be a great choice for them.
And I'm telling you right now, that's the guy that needs to go. That's where he needs to go. That will be the team, because that's probably the team that's more Chief-like.
Yeah.
In reality. Exactly. So that's
the enemy needs to be the choice. They need to come in, support him 300%. He will make the call on the quarterback, whether get rid of all of them or keep one of them, and then allow him to be. What I want the enemy to do, though, is I know he's going to bring his offensive mind. He needs to come in there and be a head coach, meaning don't be worried about calling the plays. You have to be the one to come in and set the Bears culture, because the Bears seem to have. I think there's a disconnect between coach and front office there.
There's definitely.
So you need a head coach who's going to come in there and not worry about being the guru, the genius, but really be the head coach, keep this team together, focus on the special teams, the defense, make sure that everyone is holding their weight, and then implement your style into that team. And Bieniemy, I think, would be the guy that could do that.
I agree. I think he is the guy. If you're going to do it, if you're going to make that, now this is a tough decision. I mean, listen, I don't know.
But Matt Nagy needs to go.
Well, see, I agree with you because normally those players are going to stay more than the coaches and stuff like that. But that just all depends on what the front office feels about their investment in Foles. Listen, we go back to the Bears. They're a football team that does not like to spend money at all. Okay, so when they actually extended Nick Foles that contract, first of all, a shock because of how much money it was, and then second of all, they actually went and did the deed. So that's the reason why Nagy is in trouble, because of the investment in Nick Foles, not because of that whole situation. But again, we get back to the fact that guy's got a ring. And Nagy doesn't, and that, not being able to have that authority to do what he needs to do at the line to change a play or whatever, that's a killer. That listen, my brother made not DC Dennis Clark. My other brother made a very good point. Is he should be changing the plays at the line anyway? What are they going to do? I mean, literally, what are they going to do? You see what they went to, after he got hurt.
That's what Ben does. Yeah, when Randy Fichtner gets stale and kind of gets stuck, Ben just takes the game over and says, I'm going to call the plays, spread them out, get in the right matchups, and just kind of does that. But you need to have a quarterback that you trust can do that. And I think Bieniemy needs to come in there, be the coach. They need to clean house and the coaching staff. Let Bieniemy come in, because the Bears are not as far away in that division as their record and their current status.
I agree with you, but that's what ends up happening in the NFC North. Okay, all right, because guess what? Minnesota right now, they're actually beginning to play good football. Okay,
look at Minnesota real quick. Look at Minnesota. Minnesota is playing the way the Bears should be playing.
Absolutely. Figuring out how to
Bears football
games and winning football games. They're pissing games away, and this is an ego piss. This is not lack of talent. This is an ego piss away, and that's what destroys football teams.
It is, because Matt Nagy needs to be the guru.
Absolutely.
And that's why he needs to go. It's an ego piss. It's very Jerry Jones like.
Yes, it's very.
Like,
I gotta have my hand in this.
I gotta win my way. Yeah. And it's like, let me tell you who else is like that too. He's a little better than them. His old Uncle Brucey Arians. He's like that too.
I agree.
He's like, he wants Tom Brady to win, but he wants him winning, his 5 verts, throwing it deep, no risk it, no biscuit type of offense. Like, that's what he wants. And I'm telling you, that may get them in trouble because that's not Tom's game.
I heard those things already out of there. They were talking to Arians, and he was like, "Yeah, Evans was open all over the place." Listen, you don't disrespect the GOAT because, listen, they'll get rid. Now that they got Tom Brady, they'll let Bruce Arians go. I'm sorry, they will. So you better watch it. How you attack that. You're absolutely right. They bring it into the Well, keep it real here, all right. And if you are a coach that has that kind of ego going in there, but yet you don't have the players buying into that ego, listen, guys, all day long, take away. I throw this season out the window. But when you went up to New England, you went in knowing who the freaking boss was. No one was questioning anything that was coming from Bill Belichick. Okay, and if you did, you weren't on that team for very long. Playing so, how many players that we've seen went and spent 2 or 3 weeks with him, and Bill said, this just isn't working. Thanks, but no thanks. And he lets him go. And that's because the precedent was set. So, but when you bring in Tom Brady, when you bring in a Nick Foles, and you are Matt Nagy's got all the creds with Mitchell Trubisky all day long. What has he done? Okay. But when you got Nick Foles with the Super Bowl ring on and calling out the coach in a very subtle way, I know plays are not going to work when he calls them. That's calling out your coach, and that is not the thing to do when you got an ego crushing coach, because that's what ends up happening, because there's no creds. Matt Nagy is not a winner. The simple fact of the matter. Now, if he was a guy that won 2 or 3 Super Bowls, he would let that bounce off him rubber and then figure out how to make Mitchell Trubisky be better, and he'd be back in the lineup. Right. So, by the way, Mitchell Trubisky, I was mad because, well, not mad. I was surprised that we didn't see him. The guy is hurt, evidently.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Guy hasn't played in 4 weeks, but he's hurt.
Hey, listen. Hey, you never know. Who knows what happens?
I'm sorry. Sometimes it slaps you like a bitch, right? I mean, that's what I'm looking at. But all right, more games, because I would lose you at the top of the hour, right?
Yes.
All right, lose him at the top of the hour. I want to go to the next game because I like his pick, but I didn't. The Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. I liked this pick because I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, maybe I can grab this one up, because I'm only one game from being out of the cellar. So this was one I was kind of looking at. And then
Am I in the cellar?
No, you're ahead. I'm in the cellar. Then it's Cuervo. Then it's you. Then it's the boss. And then it's Tarvin, who just now decided to kick everybody's ass. I got to get him. But, it is what it is. But you're currently in 3rd place. And I saw your pick, and I was like, man, this is one I can get on, because I'm actually I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually was leaning the Atlanta Falcons when I started looking at this game. And then Bryce here, he's on why are you on the Atlanta Falcons in this game? And if it's for the same reason, I'm gonna put
what it is
up your butt. It's gonna come out of your mouth.
This is I want to pick the Saints, but I don't know. I just have an aversion to this guru-like decision making. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to start Taysom Hill. And it's like people are just all into this Taysom Hill experience. To me, it's just, okay, turnovers aside, Taysom Hill is not the quarterback Jameis Winston is. He hasn't taken consistent snaps under center. I just feel there's something that reeks of ego with this decision. And I'm wondering if it could – I'm not saying we're not going to see Jameis Winston. Maybe there's some trickery going on here, what have you. But just to say we're going to start Taysom Hill against the Falcons, who have an offense that can move the ball when they're blocking it up, it's like I don't know. It just reeks of Sean Payton's ego, which I just don't know how that's going to go. I could be wrong, but I like Raheem Morris. I root for him. I don't know. They're playing a lot better. I feel this type of decision makes me go with the Falcons.
Listen, since Raheem Morris has taken over the Atlanta Falcons, we are seeing a totally different football team in reality. And that's because he brings.
Sonny, can I interrupt you just for a second? I also want to touch on something.
Sure.
Okay, how do I say this? The Taysom Hill experiment bothers me a little bit. For a little bit of reasons other than football. I'm not saying he's not a good football player. He makes good plays. He's an interesting player that you can use. The NFL has had many Taysom Hills over the years who did not get this same opportunity that he's getting. They were told you'll never be a quarterback. You'll never be able to be on this team. You'll never get an opportunity. They had to go to all these different leagues. And so to see him be like this, oh my God, Taysom Hill is going to start at quarterback. And this is so innovative and all that. I don't know, Sonny. It just rubs me the wrong way. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I think I get where you're going with it. Okay, and
you, personal thing in that.
You're allowed to go that way here. Okay, now granted, you can't go that way on ESPN, Fox, and everything. You can go that way, and I think you're in. If I'm reading between the lines, is you're talking about race and reality in here as far as what it is, and I get exactly what you're saying because that was one of the things that I was thinking in the whole thing. Then I thought about last year, and I thought about, what was it, 36 interceptions? I mean,
no. Yeah. Let me clarify those, Sonny. I'm not saying that decision, anything went into the decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jameis is here. He's turned the football. I'm just saying in general, the whole Taysom Hill kind of experience to me, it's just like, I'm glad he's having the opportunity to play like he plays and be in the NFL. And I'm glad the NFL is moving towards allowing these players to play quarterback who play this style of quarterback. And I'm still a little bit at that place where there were so many Taysom Hills before Taysom Hill,
right?
That could have been in the NFL and could have done what he's done, and yet didn't get that opportunity. And this guy really has never played quarterback consistently in the NFL. Whereas, look, Jameis turned the football over a lot, but there are a lot of guys who don't have Jameis's talent who have gotten the opportunity to start as the backup. So for him to get passed over like that a little bit, for a guy like Taysom Hill who plays the way he plays, it's I'm not saying that that's all that went into the decision. I'm just saying the optics of it look a little weird.
Right. And sometimes you got to look at the optics and you got to ask the question why you're looking at the optics that way. Because, listen, Jameis Winston was brought on that team to back up Drew Brees. Simple as that.
Dude, okay. I mean, it's so simple. There it is.
That is the reason why that he was brought in there. Now, was it a good decision to bring Jameis Winston as the backup quarterback? That could be the question all day long, whether or not he had the talent enough to be that guy for the Saints. But that's not the case. They brought him in to be the backup quarterback for the New Orleans Saints.
Not the number 3.
Not the number 3. I mean, but this is one of the things that we don't get the straight knowledge on, which is how is he actually progressing under Sean Payton's offense?
Fair question.
Has he been able to grasp the offense enough to where they feel comfortable doing it? But listen, Bryce, I'm with you. Listen, the Hill experiment, throwing him in for 5 or 6 plays a game, I get, completely understand. But we're talking about taking snap after snap after snap after snap after snap after snap.
Okay.
Not here, there, and everywhere, and then you make something with your legs. Because let's be honest, the guy's not throwing the ball downfield 40 yards on those plays. He is either seeing the quick hit slant over the middle, or he's going to run the football. Simple as that. Right. Now you're going to have him grasp the whole thing of what the offense is. And listen, I'm no Jameis Winston fan. This guy sucks. Period. Straight out, the guy sucks. I don't care what anybody has to say about his 5,000 yards. When you throw for 5,000 or close to 6,000 yards with 36 interceptions, listen, I don't care how good you are. Bruce Arians did not care. Bruce Arians said, just throw the ball and see if you can be on a different team next year because you're not going to be here. Okay, that's what that was. That is exactly what that was. And if it's different, you're wrong. but I'm even going to start Jameis Winston this week before Hill. Okay. And I'm an idiot. Okay. But I'm not that much of an idiot when it comes to figuring out how you're going to win a football game. And I think I'm with you. I think I question the Hill move. I think it's going to be a wrong move. And I think it's going to come back and it's going to bitch slap Sean Payton across the face. And we're going to see Jameis Winston in the second half of this football game if they're behind or not winning. Now, if they get off to a quick start, he's going to look like a genius. Okay?
Right, absolutely.
But I don't think
very much a result bias type of thing.
I don't think it's going to be that way unless he finds the guys that are going to make it that way. And that means he's going to have to deliver the ball to Evans out down the football field, or not Evans. What's his name? Thomas. He's going to have to find Thomas, and he's going to, and not only that, he's going to have to get a little help from the running game as well. Because guess what? They are going to zero in on him because he can run the football. That guy averaging 7 to 8 yards rushing the football. Okay, so that door is always open. So when you look at the Cardinals and what they do with Murray, I'm telling you right now, they scheme for that guy to run. They open holes just in case that quick hitter is not available. And then if he can decide he wants to take it, he'll take it. That's what the Saints have to do. And I don't think there's enough time for that in reality going from last week to this week. So I think this is a mistake. That's the reason why I'm going with – listen, I know who the offensive coordinator is for the Atlanta Falcons, okay? All right? I know who it is, okay? I'm just hoping Raheem Morris can string his neck and say, hey, whoa. Let's just, let's not throw this play. Hell, I know it's coming. So let's maybe do something different. So, it's just the way I kind of look at it. But at the same time, when the team goes and says, I'm going to start Hill and I have Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston obviously is not getting it's saying a lot.
It really is, Sonny. Now, look, it's unique when you have Alvin Kamara. Maybe Sean Payton is thinking we're going to run the zone read till the cows come home, and that's going to be the way we win this game.
Are they going to do that for 4 games? He's going to be – Drew Brees is out for 4 games. They're going to do that for 4 games? Come on.
Maybe it's just for this week. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what, Sonny, to your point, the reality is Jameis was brought in to be the number 2.
Yes.
If this let's just say they win. If I'm Jameis, I'm going to be a great teammate. I'm going to support. The moment this season ends, I'm going in and saying, thank you for your services, but trade me or come here. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Exactly. And I don't know. I don't know where the proper place is for Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback.
You know what? As a backup, Sonny, anywhere.
As a backup, anywhere.
Anywhere.
But then, obviously, listen, last year, think about this. Last year, when Drew Brees went down, they had no problem putting in Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Zero problem.
None.
And it was the same issue, kind of thinking about it. It's kind of like the same issue. I had no problem with that. Listen, Hill's not much better than he was this year. Okay?
Yeah.
So, there might be something that we're missing, but I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just weird. And maybe this is more of the hype around Taysom Hill. Like, we've seen many Taysom Hills.
Yes.
Like, I mean, many Taysom Hills who just did not get this type of opportunity to be the backup. Like you can be a Taysom Hill and be so dynamic you can start.
Yep.
But how many Taysom Hills get to be the backup?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Keeping it real.
We're going to keep
it real, Sonny. Just a little fish. It just rubs me the wrong way.
I get it. I get it. Interesting enough. By the way, on that game, as far as that is concerned, who do you have? No, you have Atlanta. That is the reason why I'm going Atlanta. Just more than the fact that the Saints are throwing the offense totally different in reality. He is a different quarterback than what Jameis Winston will be. And the simple fact of the matter is Jameis Winston's going to be more Drew Brees than Hill. That's the reason why. And listen, Raheem Morris's defense, I think I'm going to give him the thing that takes it over that has me pick the Atlanta Falcons today. So that one should be good. All right, I think I got you, and I had a couple other games, but just talking to you, we can go off.
Oh yeah, I love it, Sonny.
Issues and points and everything else. I did see that you had the Minnesota Vikings over the Dallas Cowboys later on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, see, we're talking about the turnaround of a football team and where it's happening.
They actually have a competent identity, unlike the Cowboys, who don't do anything good.
Yeah, well, that's because they have a quarterback. Let's be honest. Say whatever you want about, listen, I'll get all over Kirk Cousins all day long for being Kirk Cousins, okay? But guess what? They have decided that is their identity. They have decided that's their guy. They have decided that
Delvin Cook is their guy.
Yeah,
they're going to give it to him, and they're going to play off of him and play defense.
And listen, if Delvin Cook is any kind of successful, listen, as much as I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan, on play action where you got to stop and freeze for Delvin Cook, that's 2 steps. I mean, I learned that the only thing I learned in high school is when you have good play action, you give the wide receivers 2 steps. And if you got a good wide receiver and you got 2 steps, you got a wide open wide receiver. And that's what I get with the freeze, and that's what they'll get. It's whether or not they'll be able to deliver the ball in Kirk Cousins is saying, because this may be the Delvin Cook show, but Kirk Cousins is going to have to show up a little bit.
He's going to show up. Yeah. All right, Sonny, I got to head on out.
Always good to see you, my friend.
Always great talking to
you. First hour, as we got Cuervo, he's kind of doing some family things. He's going to check in the third hour. So thanks for joining me for the first hour. I appreciate it. He is Bryce from Brooklyn. Right. Listen, hey, he's my man. I appreciate it. Good seeing you, my friend. We'll check you next week and watch for him on this show. I love having Bryce come in for the first hour and going. By the way, I didn't get the opportunity to talk about some of the other things that are going on. Thanksgiving, check out the Couch Potato Sports Show. We're going to be getting all set. I'm also working on, just to let everybody know, we're working on a way that we can somehow bring Sword Championship Wrestling when they go live over onto the Couch Potato Sports Show page as well, so we can have a double look at that. Just to let you know, we're going to keep it in that way. So we're at the top of the hour, which means we're going to go into our first break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Hear from our sponsors. We think, now I'm hot. I guess the hypertension's kicking in, so I need to get into a T-shirt as well. So we're going to take our first break, and then when we come back, we're going to jump right into Philadelphia and Cleveland, New England, and Houston. Then we'll hit Cincinnati and Washington and Miami and Denver, just to name a few. We'll do that when we come back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said, we'll be right back.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. We specialize in everything that others don't, such as stained concrete floors, wood spot repairs on doors and floors, stainless steel spot repairs, anti-slip-on floors, and more. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607. That's 214-536-2607. Or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. We strive to always meet and exceed customers' expectations, competency, and accountability, as well as satisfaction. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com. Being taken for a ride? Check out Costco Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Costco Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostcoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement fail to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com.
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Whether you want real Texas brisket, Virginia ham, southern pulled pork, or fall-off-the-bone ribs, Dickey's Barbecue is the place to go. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Karen McKinney of Budget Blinds of Rowlett. Find a little inspiration by browsing our product, whether it be the latest trends, child safety, or smart home technology, and more. Contact Karen McKinney at 972-722-9300 or visit her on the web at budgetblinds.com/Rowlett. You can also learn who they are, as well as their approach and products, and you can also schedule a free home consultation. Again, contact Karen at 972-722-9300 or log online, budgetblinds.com/Rowlett.
Show here on Sunday morning. It is that being said, the Sunday morning tradition continues on as we get all set and ready to rock and roll. These are our sponsors. Make sure you check them out, especially in the Rowlett area. It's Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, Budget Blinds, Rowlett Foods, Merchant Masters, Ray Hubbard Real Estate, and that is Jeremy Morgan. Check him out. Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors, Wesson General Contracting, 19 Ministries. Good to see Landon Huey yesterday. K West Design, Sticky's Barbecue, as well as Costco Insurance, Perfections Body Sculpting, as well as Liberty Air and Heat. Check them out. We always appreciate their sponsorship. Up on the show, welcome into the second hour of our 3-hour extravaganza, and we're going to get into the games and talk about the games that are all set and ready to go for us to do it. So we're going to do that to get started because I don't know, when we get Cuervo in here, we're gonna roll through all of them. So hopefully I'll have most of my stuff up and ready to go and done by that time. So let's get to the next game that's up online here. It is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. It's one of those crazy games. I hate this game in reality when you think about it, because Philadelphia is so bad. Okay, and Cleveland in reality, let's just be honest, they are so bad too. Okay, you're talking about a football team in reality that cannot get out of its own way half the time. So when you look at games like Eagles Browns, they don't have you on your edge of your seat unless you're fans of these teams, okay? Because the simple fact of the matter is you're never going to know what you're really going to get with the Philadelphia Eagles, okay, and the Cleveland Browns. It's just the way that works. So what do you get in this game? Well, simple enough, guys. It's going to be entertaining because the Philadelphia Eagles are 3-5-1. The Cleveland Browns are 6-3. Are they real? I don't know. But all you got to do is take a look at the standings to find out. The standings might say that they're real. Yes, I said it. So let's look at those, okay? All right, especially for the wild card. This is the wild card setup. Look where Cleveland is on this. Cleveland right now is 6-3 on the outside looking in the number 8 position. You need to be 7. So Philadelphia has the spot right now. They're 3-6, but look at that number 13 spot. Well, they're 3-5-1. That tie is definitely keeping it to where it is for them. But right there are the New York Giants. The Giants could easily slip into that spot number 4 and take over that wild card, take over that spot, and then slip Philadelphia down there and maybe too far behind, depending on what happens with Atlanta, depending on what happens with San Francisco or Detroit. So interestingly enough, when I'm looking at this game, I'm asking myself the question, are the Cleveland Browns for real? And it's a valid point. Listen, Cleveland hasn't been playing a lot of great teams in reality, and they haven't been really kicking anybody's rear ends. They had one where they had a great game. Baker Mayfield's only thrown for 1,646 yards. When you look at the other side, Carson Wentz thrown for almost 2,100 yards. But where is the difference? Kareem Hunt is really a guy that they can start depending on, okay? And I'm talking about for the Cleveland Browns. Kareem Hunt, when they grabbed this guy up, they got a guy that was quick. They got a guy that, now granted, controversial, but guess what? Still able to run the football. And that's what they have depended on. You look at the Cleveland Browns, they're throwing the ball. The total yards per game are 347 for Cleveland and only 331. But the difference is Cleveland's scoring 24 points. Philadelphia Eagles are scoring 22. So when I'm looking at everything as far as the numbers are concerned, I see rushing yards with Kareem Hunt averaging that 159 a game, only 122 on the other side with Miles Sanders and the Eagles. But passing the yards is a total different game in reality when you look at Baker Mayfield. 196 yards. It's right around that 200 yards mark. That's not good. It's not great. It is not bad either. It's not 175 bad. It's not 180. At least it's right around that 200 yards. But Carson Wentz is not that good. He's not that great. And he's not that bad either. But he's got 235 yards that they throw. Now, yards allowed per game, only 344 for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns, 357. So something's going to have to give in reality when you're looking at this game. So I don't know what people will look at, but the Eagles really, in reality, should win the NFC East. But if they start dropping games, and maybe right now the only team that looks like they're kind of improving are the Giants, so you could have a switch and maybe not in there. There's no line in this game either, by the way. But when you look at it and you start talking about the teams, I ask myself, who's going to shoot themselves in the foot first? So after getting burned by Daniel Jones already, thinking about the fact that a touchdown a few weeks ago, then they got torched last week again. It's time, for an actual score and a way to lose a game, within the division. Cleveland has looked like a different team with Nick Chubb back. Nick Chubb is the difference maker in this game. Because you look at Kareem Hunt, Chubb can come back slowly, or, if he's not ready to move, you got a quality guy that you can depend on, and on third down, bring in Kareem Hunt as well. So, both of them got 100 yards last week. But that game last week scares me because they only won that game 10-7 last week. So Who did the Cleveland Browns play last week to where they got the victory? That was Houston. All right, so when you look at Houston, Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson, two totally different types of quarterbacks, and I don't know what we're going to get from them. But Carson Wentz, in reality, looks at Cleveland as they don't have a great defense in reality, but the difference is they got 14 takeaways. So, and what does Carson Wentz do? Throws those interceptions. So you're looking at a lot of things as far as that is concerned. That means Carson Wentz is going to have to play a game and kind of play a clean game. No mistakes. There's some instant where there might be some weather in Philly. So that means they're going to keep the ball on the ground. So, actually the weather's in Cleveland, so they're going to keep the ball on the ground. So again, Chubb and Kareem Hunt is going to be there. The Browns have one of the best offensive lines in football. I hate to admit it, but at least I'm not saying they got one of the best quarterbacks. But that's what is making the situation with Baker Mayfield look like he knows what he's doing. He's got time to throw the football, which is huge. Okay? In Houston, you look at that, you look at the whole thing, as far as that game was concerned, the offensive line held up really good for Baker Mayfield. But I don't like the fact that they got only 10 points. So you look at it, the Eagles right now, they have a dynamic pass rush. They are going to be all over Baker Mayfield. And these teams, the difference, they're going to have to keep the ball on the ground. If they run the football, that's going to be in Cleveland's advantage. But I think there's going to also be an opportunity in reality to go ahead and get Baker Mayfield and get him into the game. There is the boss, DC Dennis Clark. You know, I've already seen who you pick. Thanks for sending those in, by the way. You're on the Cleveland Browns, and I know you're no Baker Mayfield fan. I sit and listen to you cuss this guy out.
No. The loser with a criminal record. He's got a record there.
But why do you have the Cleveland Browns today? What are you looking at Philadelphia that says, well, I need to be on Cleveland today?
Well, I've said this 100 times. I go with my feelings, and Philadelphia is not showing me anything more than Cleveland is. So I'm just going to go with Cleveland this week.
You betcha. You think about it. Right now, the Eagles are getting 2.5 in reality in this game. So, Vegas kind of looks and is kind of going on the Cleveland side of this. So interestingly enough, when you think about the game, as far as knowing neither one of these teams are really, really good in reality, none of them look like they're going to make a big play in the playoffs if and when they make it. So you have to look at what is really happening. Cleveland's got that offensive line, but it doesn't mean that Cleveland doesn't know how to win ugly. We saw last week a 10-7 game. That wasn't pretty at all. And I'm just wondering if that's the beginning of the start of something. Now, Philly is going to get an interesting situation in space, okay? All right. Think about this. Cleveland right now may have the better team in reality, I think. I think I'm there, but I'm wondering if Philly's return, getting some guys back they need. But you got Garrett on the other side looking to get to Carson Wentz. So in reality, if that offensive line for Philly can hold back Myles Garrett, which I think they can because it's pretty good too. And I don't think they have to necessarily do a lot. In fact, if they aim in on Garrett, I think they got a good offensive game plan to try to get the ball away from Garrett. Maybe even throw some quick shots over his head and hit a receiver just coming out there. So I think it should be a really interesting game today. I think it'll be entertaining anyway.
Well, do you think Baker Mayfield's going to be doing some passing in this game? It's been been over the last couple of weeks the ground game that saved him. So, what do you think? Do you think that he's going to be throwing the ball more, or do you think he's just going to stick with the running game?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because what I heard that there is going to be some weather issues in Cleveland, and there it is. It's Sunday. It's 37 degrees. It's going to be wet, so I think the ball's going to be on the ground. Kareem Hunt. They also got Nick Chubb back. I know my boy Austin Tolliver, Billy Joe Tolliver. You might be a name you remember at the quarterback position in the old days there, Dennis. His son. He is on the He's going for the Browns. I think they keep the ball on the ground, but at the same time, Philadelphia knows how to play in that weather. Listen, it's always wet and miserable in Philadelphia, so I think that's
it's that way in Cleveland too. Really, if you want to look at weather, I mean, it's the Midwest. What do you expect? I mean,
yeah. Hour flight. I mean, it's like you're going to Vegas for crying out loud from Arizona. So that's pretty much all it is. So it's not
do you enjoy that new cup? I saw you.
I
got
my new cup here. Got the Yoda. Of course, by the way, I found out that is not Yoda. Just so that
it's not. It's just a character, but everybody calls him. Everybody calls him Baby Yoda. I've got one too, but I don't have a coffee cup. I've got the actual carcass over here.
Yeah, I don't need that, but I do like this because I drink a lot of coffee and it's a huge cup. I mean, geez, look at compared to my head. It's just
I spend a lot of time by myself and I talk to it.
Yeah. Oh boy, I thought I needed a life.
You know what? The thing is the thing always gives me the right answer.
Oh, is it? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How do you
know? And when
that?
I don't want to get up and go get a cup of coffee, he just brings me one with his head.
There you go. By the way, everybody, I got a surprise for you on Thursday. Listen, the Couch Potato Sports Show comes see you live on Thanksgiving. So make sure you head on out there and join us. If you got some time on Thursday, join us at 9:30 a.m. There are 3 games. We're going to cover that. Plus, we'll talk more sports and everything as well. So check that out on Thursday as we go on. So in this game, you picked the Cleveland Browns. I'm actually going Philadelphia. Might be a little bit of a sloppy game, if Philly loses, it'll be because Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb will go off on the ground. I think that's where it'll happen.
If you noticed, you were talking earlier with Tarvin, that they're not Tarvin, but right. The Detroit game, I didn't pick them on general purpose there. Detroit just. You made me change my mind, and you helped me get my bad score this week.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
You had a bad week. I mean, and listen,
I had a terrible week.
We've been doing this for 11 years. Okay, all right. So there are going to be weeks where you only get 2 or 3 right, but you got at least 6 right last week, and so you did drop into second place in reality. Tarvin moved ahead of you by 3 games. He's 95-51. You're 92-54. You're in second place, but breathing down your neck.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to recount. I'm not leaving this office until I get a recount.
Well, I got news for you. You're not getting a recount. It's right.
I am number 1. Okay?
In your own mind. But hey, sometimes it's great to live in your own little world. It is what it is. Yeah. It had a bad week, and I actually had a pretty, I'm hanging around at that 9. I gained a couple on Cuervo, so I'm only 1 in the cellar. I'm in the cellar, but I'm only 1 behind Cuervo. So hopefully we'll get Cuervo's picks in. He's doing some family things. He's going to join us for rapid fire picks in the 3rd hour. So, but we're covering them off here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. So that'll take us to the next game. This should be an interesting game. The New England Patriots get the win last week with Superman and all the, Cam Newton. He gets the win last week, which by the way,
Super Pimp.
It's a super pimp.
Look at
Bal-
them clothes he wears. Come on.
hey,
Baltimore.
listen,
Oh, come
hey, they
on. This
beat
is going to
the
be a
Baltimore Ravens last week. Listen, it's hard to beat that football team, but then again, right now, when you look at Baltimore right now, they're on that, kind of thing that they're doing a lot, which is making the turn. People are figuring them out. What's going to happen now? You look at that football team. Are the Baltimore Ravens the same team as they were last year?
I don't think so, Tim.
They're not the same team. So
not even close. Not even
it,
close.
it's not. So now
You know what it is? You know what it is, Sonny?
Yeah.
They got film now. They got film.
Yes.
They know what he's going to do now.
Well,
and that's their biggest problem. They don't have any more. They don't have any more tricks. Everybody knows their plays.
And listen, that was something that I made mention of last year. I said, you can have this guy and he can be the flavor of the year, flavor of the month for 2 years. Okay. But listen, I'm putting my money on defensive coordinators. And guess what? That's what is ending up happening. The defensive coordinators are coming on top of this in reality. So, but now you look at what that whole thing is. Baltimore being in action against Tennessee today. This one, Mike Vrabel is not very far from Bill Belichick. So, that was another portion I was on it. Remember, he used to be a Patriot as well. That's another factor that I forgot to mention when I was talking to Bryce about that game. So, but the New England Patriots, they take on Houston. And right now, when you think about where New England is with Bill Belichick, right now the fans, they can. I think the fans have even understood that this is a football team that maybe not going to be in the playoffs. I think fans are coming to that conclusion. They did get the win after a 4-game slide. In reality, New England, in reality, if they're going to get better this year, this is a team that they need to get better against. A Houston team that has not been very good at all. Deshaun Watson, you can say whatever you want about him, but guess what? He is Lamar Jackson all over again too. And guess what? They're not winning football games. He's not playing well. Defensive coordinators maybe have got him going on. So when I'm looking at this game, I'm looking at the running game, whether it is Cam Newton or Damian Harris for the Patriots. Harris right now, he is the guy that is really, he's the one really handled the offense against Baltimore. And he's gone over the 100-yard mark a couple of times, in the last 3 games. So when you're looking at if he can continue that, 5.5 yards a carry, that is huge. If you're getting over 5 yards a carry, you're making an impact in the running game. And
you're also making those third down conversions.
Oh, absolutely. Third and short, on third and short, it's not an automatic pass when you got a guy's getting 5 yards a clip. So, you might see him running the ball on third down.
Yes, indeed. Pardon me.
Definitely. The
other thing I was going to mention, you were talking about Thursday, doing the show on Thursday and everything. I hope I can hang in there with you, but I'm going to be doing some traveling.
Oh, you're traveling?
I'm going across town now. My daughter moved out of my park. Now I've got to go out.
Not around, so I get it. I completely understand. It's all right. Cuervo
is a big motivator, though.
I don't know if we're going to do 3 hours. We only got 3 games, but it just depends on what kind of tangent that Sonny will go on, or Cuervo at the same time. Bryce and I, we covered only 4 games. That's because we started talking about football, and Cuervo and I know how to do that. So we'll see what happens as far as that is concerned. So, but this game, New England and Houston, it looks like you are on New England. Any thinking, Deshaun Watson, what's going on? Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, they're kind of the same guy in reality.
I just close my eyes and that's how I did it.
I hate this.
No.
I'm going to take the New England Patriots. I don't want to take them. But Houston's playing so bad. JJ wants to check out. It's just God. I just puked in my mouth. Oh Jesus, I hate that. Not good. It is what it is. I have to get over it. So, but so I'm going to go ahead. And this game right here is your Detroit Lion game pick last week. Okay, I'm going to be mad that I did not take the Houston Texans in this game. I don't know why.
I think you're going to be.
And Houston's going to get up by 14. I'm going to be pissed off for the whole game.
Now you know how I felt about Detroit last week.
Exactly.
I just wanted to throw furniture around,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to get off camera for a few minutes. I'll be back. I've got to talk to the.
You got it. Go ahead. I'll remove you out and we'll get you back. That's DC Dennis Clark. Right now in second place as far as the picks are concerned. He is at 92 and 54. 3 games behind Tarvin, who snuck up and got him. He is at 95 and 51. Bryce, 1 game behind the boss, 91 and 55. And then Cuervo, a couple of games back from Bryce at 89 and 57. I'm at 88 and 58, bringing up the choo-choo at the end. So in reality, I thought I was going to win this one, but I haven't done very good. So anyway, it is what it is. It is the Couch Potato Sports Show. More games up online here. Let's get to the next one. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Redskins. This is going to be on Red Zone, guys. And the reason why it's going to be is when you got 2 bad teams going and knocking heads, it usually ends up being a pretty interesting game. Alex Smith at the quarterback position for the Washington football team. The Cincinnati Bengals, listen, they got Joe Burrows. Listen, that guy is going to be a pretty good football player in reality. So when I say this, I almost had to pull. I did pull out the couch potato quarter, but then I started thinking about it, and as my brother will say, sometimes Sonny will think a little bit too much about a game, and I'm pretty good at it. Looking at a lot of things that may have nothing to do with the game, but. This one here is interesting. Joe Burrows has been, right now, he's right there as far as maybe a candidate for the Rookie of the Year. And I don't know what we're going to get from Alex Smith, but the Washington defense in reality has been stellar in reality against the pass. So guess what? Joe Burrows is going to have to go in there and maybe become creative. Because let's be honest, when you got a rookie quarterback, okay, you're not doing anything that's outside the norm of what a normal rookie would be. It's just whether or not you can master what a rookie quarterback is going to do. So when you think about Joe Burrows and the Bengals and the passing attack, it's going to have to be something where you're going to have to break off a big play here and there. Then on the other side, Alex Smith, okay, this right here might be the best matchup that he's going to get, at least immediately coming off of the injury, not getting a lot of reps. And then you think about compared to the level of play that he played last week to this week, he can really, in reality, look at some of the things. He could repeat his high career numbers. Why? Because the Bengals secondary is so bad. So if Washington can figure out a way to keep Alex Smith upright in this game, that could be totally and utterly in the favor of the Washington football team. Now, say whatever you want about Alex Smith. That guy is the constant professional. The guy knows, I say this a lot. When you're going to figure out if you're a good football team, you bring in guys that know how to win or at least have the experience to put your team at an advantage. Will there be an advantage here? When you think about Washington, I don't think that there's anything you can say that says, this is going to stand out. because I'm just going to ask just regular folks, just off the top of their heads, when you think about the Washington Redskins, who do you think about in the wide receiving position? And I'll pause a little bit because you're not going to come up with very, very many names. But when you look on the flip side of that, as far as what is happening, as far as Cincinnati, Joe Burrows has found 8 different receivers on 3 different occasions, and that is huge. That means he's looking around, trying to find his guys that can help him win a football game. Good, bad, or indifferent, the Washington Redskins are not a good football team. They are at home. I think there might even be some some fans in the stands. Could be. I don't know. But I will say this. I think this could be a very interesting game for the day. I think we'll see a lot of this one on Red Zone. When you got guys like this, that's what ends up happening. You see these things as far as, the thing. Now, looking at the numbers of the game, this is not a tough one to figure out as far as that is concerned. So let's look at the numbers. Hold on, there it is. Because we skipped over that part. So let me pull this up. I had it right in front of me, and I got to wait for it to load here. But one of the things I was noticing about Alex Smith and what he's capable of doing is being a veteran and knowing how to. I'll just say it, be a rookie quarterback. If there's anybody that can do it, it can be Alex Smith. Now, Alex Smith hasn't, outgunned anybody right now. He's still behind in yards to Dwayne Haskins. But when you look at Washington, they won 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, and they've lost 2 in a row. Right now, the Bengals have lost 3 in a row, but their last game was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody knew they were going to skull drag them. Then the question is, where are they at as far as injuries are concerned, as far as the Cincinnati Bengals? Because I don't think Mixon is going to play. Let's find out. I'll take a look at the injury report and see what it says. But if they get Joe Mixon, that could be huge for him. So let's see here. Not a good update on Mixon. Right now he's questionable for the game. Let's see here. They're going to put him on IR, but they expect for him to play later on this year. So they put him on injured reserve just this yesterday. So we're not going to see Joe Mixon in this game. And listen, when you lose a guy like Joe Mixon, you lose a guy that brings you, energy, electricity. So what's going to have to happen is you take a look at some guys. They're going to have to get the ball to Tyler Boyd. Listen, Tyler Boyd is a badass. I like this guy, and they're going to have to get the ball to him. But one of the things that I see on the other side, Washington's defense, even though the secondary gives it up, we still have Fuller with 4 interceptions out on the season. John Bostic has 66 tackles on the year. Those are huge numbers. Those are guys that are making a difference out there. And Terry McLaurin, he's not all that bad. He's got 787 yards. So when I was looking at the game, the numbers, Cincinnati is only scoring 23 points a game. Washington is only scoring 20. But when you look at it, Washington's allowing 24 points a game. Cincinnati is 27, but Cincinnati's played different football teams in reality as well, better football teams. And that was the thing that took me over when I was looking at this game and deciding who I was going to pick in it. Okay, giving up a lot of points, yes, is not good for Cincinnati, but Washington is only scoring 20 points a game. So depending on the situation, depending on how they handle it, Cincinnati, you look at the numbers, passing per game is 277 yards. Joe Burrow has averaged all year long. Okay. And between 3 different quarterbacks, Washington's only averaging 255. And when you look at last week, Alex Smith didn't have the best game in the world. Now, Alex Smith is also a guy, though, in reality, when you think about it, is a guy that could come back and make Cincinnati look bad late in the game because of his experience. And that's what scares me about this one. So think about that one as we move into this game this week. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hang on, and I'm going to keep Cincinnati in spot. And looking at the rest of the picks, the boss is on Cincinnati as well as Bryce. Again, we'll get Cuervo's and Tarvin's picks hopefully before they're back. Do me a favor there, Dennis. If you are ready to come back, when you're ready, put your hand up. I'll see when you're ready. I'll bring you back in because right now he's sitting there, but he might not be ready to come back. So that's going to take us into the next game here up on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And so let me hit that button right. Whoop, wrong one. This one right. Miami and Denver. God, I hate this game. And the reason why I hate it is because everybody loves Tua. It's the Tua show.
Can we talk?
I'm not buying it. I'm still not buying it. Yes, I know. And I was asked the other day, Sonny, do you know Tua's run 3 in a row? Yes, I know. Hey, Sonny, do you know they're still in the running of the wild card? Yes, I know. Sonny, do you realize Tua is actually making some plays out on the football field? Yes, I know. I completely get it. And I know there's been a lot of people, a lot of talk out there. You know, when I say that I don't like Tua, it's not that I don't like him personally. It's I don't like the move. And right now, it looks like the move has worked. Congratulations, Miami Dolphins. Congratulations for making me look dumb, which you have. You've won 3 in a row. You only can get the check marks underneath the W, so to make anybody look stupid. And guess what? They've done it. But, I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that they've won 3 in a row
This is total BS.
is making me look dumb, and I get it. But I want to see more. I want to see more games with them. And we talked about it, and DC he said it in the last game, a couple of games back. When you get defensive coordinators, get an opportunity to figure it out. How long will it be before they do figure them out? And here's another thing. Right now, Tua's not throwing the ball down the field to where he's letting his receivers do the job.
Don't hold back.
You need the yak of the yak after you get the ball down the field. And he reminds me of Eli Manning. Eli Manning was able to deliver the ball, but not in stride. We want to see more for in stride from Tua. I'll just say it. Now, Grant. And there he is, and the big hands up in the air. So I know who he's picking. He is on the Miami Dolphins. I said I am not going to go on the Tua bandwagon until Tarvin goes on the actual. No, I'm not going to wave the white flag. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Tarvin has to give up. Before I get on the Tua bandwagon, Tarvin's got to give up his love for Donald Trump. When that happens, I'll do it. So,
well,
I don't think
you're going to be waiting for a while, aren't you?
So it just depends on what you think about the whole. Oh, here, let me break that up. There we go. A little bit brighter there. I was trying. There we go.
I need to get my shades off that dome you got going there.
Hey, it's hot in here. Oh, well, I had a fan on. I just looked up. Oh, I was wondering why it's so damn hot. But once I started getting excited and getting animated about talking football, the hypertension starts kicking up, and then now all of a sudden,
they got medications for that.
I know that's what I hear. I don't know. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but it doesn't take much of a genius to probably figure out I might have a little hypertension going on in reality. So
no,
I don't know. But anyway. So you're looking at Miami and Denver. Listen, right now, if I'm gonna, I know people are gonna say I love what's coming out of Denver. If they put it together, they might become a good football team. They're slowly getting better, and they're missing key, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're missing key components over there, and that makes it hard to win football games in reality.
Is that game being played in Colorado, or is it in Miami?
And that's another part of it. They are playing in Denver, and listen, that's a totally different monster when you get into that one.
Well, yeah, and the other thing that especially too is not. I don't think he's ever played up in that stadium before, and you know you get out of breath pretty quick up there.
Yes, high altitude makes a big difference. Now, listen, I get it. I understand the Miami Dolphins look like they're for real. 3 in a row, and actually they've won 4 in a row, with the game before he got in there. And right now they haven't been doing it because Tua has been throwing the ball like crazy good. They've been doing it because Brian Flores is getting through to his defense, which is what he was hired for in reality. Right now, they've got the 5th best ranked defense in the NFL. But here's what it is. They're averaging 30 points a game. So when I was looking at this game and I wanted to go ahead and pick Denver, that was the big figure. Now, I'm not going to pick Tua because I'm going to keep with my promise. As soon as Tarvin does away with Donald Trump, I'll pick the Miami Dolphins. Until then, I'm going on Denver. But I think you're right. To maybe have the argument if you want to. The altitude is going to it plays havoc on even the many veterans that go in there and they have bad football games. So it's going to be a big difference. So I don't know. Will he figure it out? Will they throw the ball more, or are they going to go to the run a little bit more? That's going to be huge in this game too. Is how they attack this game. Will they put that ball into his hand in order for him to see if they can win the football game or are they going to go to the ground? Because when you look at Miami, they as far as their offense is concerned, they mix it up pretty well right now.
Well, the only question I have is, are you going to be a believer eventually? Because if they win today, it's going to be hard to deny it, just like somebody else.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I have to make a decision on that. I almost pulled the trigger on this game. So I'm close. So obviously I'm close, right? But I think the altitude will have something to do with it. Listen, when you play in it all the time, it's huge. But the difference, you get back to it. Miami is averaging 27 points a game, 30 over the last 3. Denver's only scoring 20 points a game. So, but the other part of it is that defense has been playing really well. So if this game was in Miami, I'd pick the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to stay with the Denver Broncos because of the home field advantage, not because of the fans in the stand, because of the
that's my biggest concern with picking Miami this week, is because they're playing there and their rookie quarterback has not felt the pain of not being able to breathe.
Yep.
So.
And interestingly enough, by the way, Melvin Gordon, 439 yards so far this season. And Lindsey is supposed to be back in the lineup, so they got a dual running back situation going on there as well. And then you got Justin Simmons. He's got 3 interceptions out on the season. But it's what the problem is on the other side. Xavier Howard has 5 interceptions, and he's going to be looking at Drew Lock going, come on, just one time. Take the chance. Take the chance. Throw the one time. I got your ass. And if he gets more, that's it. So, but in reality, but I got to do this. There's always a little conspiracy going on when you think the Couch Potato Sports Show. So I look at this game and, I've talked about whether or not Tua is for real. We've done that already. But what I think the conspiracy is it's not on Miami's side. I think it's on the other side of it. The conspiracy is how much longer will the Denver Broncos be allowed to lose before they make the move away from their general manager? And, of course, their general manager is John Elway, Hall of Fame quarterback, and he just tripped into Drew Lock in reality. I think he's going to get the right thing. But the the question is I wonder how much longer of losing will happen. Now, I talked to Brian Tarvin. Tarvin said he's not going to leave that job until he's ready. But I don't know if I think that. I don't know. Maybe ownership of the Denver Broncos will make that move sooner or later. Hey, listen, sometimes your guy, and of course John Elway is the Denver Broncos, sometimes you got to move away from the guy. So I'm wondering if that's even close at some time.
I disagree with you. I think money is going to keep him there because don't he have a big stake in that team?
He has a stake in it. It might be the money. It could keep him there. And maybe he's cheap. I don't know his contract situation.
Cheap. That's funny. That's funny. How much is that man worth? $100 million?
The general manager, it's not like he's playing for the money. He's trying to put the team together. So listen, at least he's not he's not a guy that's making as much as some of the players in reality. That is. Sorry, I hit the button. I was pushing and scrolling in reality, but this is. I don't know. Whether or not what he's going to make, that it'll be remain to be seen. But I think there's something there. I think ownership wants to see a little bit more movement from the Denver Broncos. That means wins. But God, when you're playing in a division where you have the Kansas City Chiefs playing well, listen. Next year you got to listen. They may not be good this year, but look out for the Chargers next year. And listen, the Raiders are in line as far as the wild card is concerned too. So this division of football. I hit that button again. I hate, for some reason, my mouse is really sensitive. But
really, mouse is real sensitive there, huh?
Yeah, so it's real sensitive. But look at the wild card. You have the Raiders on the outside looking in right now. As far as in the division that they play in, these 2 games behind Kansas City, so they're not going to win that division, but they're holding on to that number 5. Miami. From last week, they were number 8. They moved up to number 6 with the victory. Baltimore with the loss was lucky they didn't slide out of the last spot with Cleveland and Tennessee both gnawing on their behind. But here's the thing. You got 7 more weeks. If the Denver Broncos can put it together and start winning some football games, but Tennessee, Baltimore, and Miami, and all those other teams before them are going to have to start losing, and I don't see it. So in reality, the fact of the matter is that you can stick a fork in reality into the Denver Broncos as far as their playoff shots are concerned. But the thing about it is that they can be the cause of a problem for another football team not to make the playoffs.
Well, and the other thing is entertainment value. Watching them grow after they lose and they know they've lost makes the games a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah, and again, this game here in reality, I think it'll be an entertaining game. The defense will be lacking on the Denver side of it, so they're going to have to make some plays in order for them to win. But I'm going to stick with Denver because of the altitude, and I'm not picking the Denver Broncos because it's Tua or my feeling about that. The altitude changes everybody when they go into it. So that's the only.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing, I spent a week there one afternoon, and I didn't feel any difference.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the airport I was in, but to me, I guess. Is this a long-term thing, or is this you're going to stop breathing immediately type thing?
No, it's what you do is once you're out on the football field and you start the huffing and puffing, and that's the thing. Now, if you and I were out there running sprints, okay, I probably shouldn't have said that. We're not running sprints, so that's probably so maybe power walking in reality. Probably not power walking. Just walking will lose breath up there compared to an athlete. They got to work it a little bit, but once you're in there and doing it for a while, it's hard to grasp the oxygen up in that area.
Yeah, I kind of run out of breath just running to the refrigerator. refrigerator. You know what I mean?
Well, I run out of breath talking on this show. I do it for 3 hours, and then I got to go to the CPAP machine. So it's the way it is. But yeah, I'm going to go Denver, and again, if this game was in Miami, I would pick Miami, and the only reason is that Tua has not seen this altitude, so definitely.
Well, you are not going to talk me into a second mistake.
Oh, come on! He's going to be on the Miami Dolphins.
No.
So you sure you don't want to pick over Carolina? Are you going to stay on Carolina?
I'm still recovering from the last I got.
Yeah. Hey, man, these days you'll evaluate the teams the way Cuervo and I do, and you.
Oh, no. Oh, good God, that's work.
That makes it worse. Next game. Next game up on board, the Jets and the Chargers. I don't have a lot to say about this game in reality because it is the Jets. God, they are just awful.
All right, now you can talk about bad football teams right now. Here you go.
Right. Well, yes, and the Chargers, they're becoming a good football team. But are the Jets a good football team?
I don't think so, Jim.
Not a good football team. And the simple fact of the matter is that they're tanking, and they got to continue tanking if they're going to get that. Trevor Bauer is on the radar up there, and I don't know if Trevor Bauer is even – but all the things I've read is that Trevor Bauer is still staying in college.
That's what I thought. Why would I want to race into the NFL with the Jets?
That's
a bad career move already.
Well, it's not. But that's beyond their control for the first 5 years of their career. Yeah, so
there's got to be a way he can get on a team without having to go through the draft.
Well, it depends.
The last time this was really an issue, is when Keyshawn Johnson came into the league, and Keyshawn Johnson was not very interested. In fact, there's an episode of Coach, the fictional football team, where he goes to the Orlando Breakers as he was the head coach there, and their first pick was going to be Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn said, well, I'm not playing for you, Coach. I'll sit out for the whole year. And in real life, that was the situation at the time. He didn't want to play for the team that was going out there, so he told him not to pick him. Now, I don't know if Trevor Bauer has that kind of pull to decide, or to tell someone that, yeah, we're not gonna come to you. We'll just hold out, not sign it. We'll try again next year. Maybe that's the case. But the Jets, they refused to fire their head coach, which should have been fired a long time ago. But now when you're the problem is when you are the Jets, you don't have the Bieniemy guy, I can't even say his name, Bieniemy out of Kansas City, who's going to get a head coach job. The Jets have a snowball chance in hell of getting him. It's not going to happen, and that's the thing. You think about who's going to coach that football team, because you need to build that team, and coaches that are on that are hot don't want to build a team. They want to go a team that has somewhat of a potential, and you're just not getting that with the Jets right now. So.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a mess over there. It is a mess.
It is bad. You're on the chart.
It's a cat box that needs cleaning real bad.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and write everybody. I don't think anybody. And listen, I'll tell you right now, though. You think about what's going on in as far as San Diego or LA Chargers. That's a football team. If they get a couple more pieces next year, I'm not saying that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to not win the division, but at least, and then you got the Raiders that are playing good. I think it could be a very interesting division of football in the next couple of years over in the AFC West, just as we're seeing in the NFC West, where you got all four teams in contention in that division. If San Francisco didn't have the injury bugs that they got going on, they'd still be in contention with their own division as well. So it'd be interesting to see where the AFC West ends up going. But yeah,
I'm on the Chargers, and I filled it in for everybody. I don't think Tarvin or Cuervo is that dumb to pick the Jets, so I'll fill that one in for him. Again, we should get Cuervo here fairly quickly as far as that's concerned. So here's what we're going to do. We got 4 more games up on the board. That means that we're going to go ahead and take our break here, get our final spots in for our sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll knock those out. Plus, we'll take a look at some of the other NFL news that has happened, some interesting things that are going on that I kind of want to give my 2 cents on. Well, there you go. It's about as good as my opinion is, about 2 cents. So we'll do that. We'll take the quick break. We'll go into our third hour. We'll be back in about 5 minutes here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said,
this is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about RowlettFood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered, but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out, and you'll have your food within 25 to 45 minutes, depending on distance. Check out RowlettFoods.com for your next meal at Raising Cane's, Golden Pot, Ponchos and Lefty, and more. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at RowlettFood.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Landon Huey and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is we have this idea, the name that's kind of sticking right now is Rowlett Revival. And we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Out of a population of 60,000, there's close to 40,000 that aren't saved. And we want to do like a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday where we'll bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ, and we want to connect people in the city up with churches, and where they can find a healthy church family and find people that believe in them and find a God that loves them. Jesus came for a broken world, and man, he loves and cares for everybody in the city. And so we're excited about that. We're working through details right now, but our vision is to see God's going to reach a lot of people.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665, or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, asking, are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. Visit RayHubbardRealEstateGroup.com or make an appointment today by calling 214-236-2914. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Rockwall. Find out how Merchant Masters, DFW, specializing in small business companies, can help you save money and protect your customers' information with our credit card processing and point-of-sale systems. In 95% of our cases, our services save our clients money. So, what makes Merchant Masters DFW different from all the others? It's an integrity-first approach to each client we work with, so you receive the very best, including financial savings, lowest possible rates, superior technology, and improved support. So claim your free audit at merchantmastersdfw.com or contact John Beeman at 262-339-5470 for more information. That's 262-339-5470. Merchant Masters DFW, different from all the rest.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has got up so you can see, especially if you have that special occasion that needs something original, something designed, something that just says, this is our moment. Check out K West Designs on Facebook or give her a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. Again, K West Designs. Make yourself look original or different or just something just for you. K West Designs. And welcome back into the third of the hour of the Couch Potato Sports Show. Week number 11 of the NFL. We got it covered and covered well. Not a lot of different picks as far as some of them. The Cleveland-Philly game. The boss is on Cleveland. Bryce and I are on Philly. That's one a little bit different as far as that's concerned. Atlanta and New Orleans. I'm on Atlanta, so is Bryce. DC, the boss, Dennis Clark, is on the Saints. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity on the Saints game. In case you didn't know, Drew Brees is hurt. He is not in
Yes, I know he's hurt. He's hurt.
All right, very good. I just want, in case you didn't know.
He's got what? Rib problems. You ain't going to see him for a while.
Yeah,
after
3 weeks. Yeah,
I haven't broken a rib, but I've bruised one, and I'm the biggest whiny baby in the world when it comes to injury. But those height.
Height. They height bad. Yeah, I have broken a rib, and they hurt. It hurts to breathe. So never mind you having someone nail you in your midsection while you're trying to throw the football. So that's up on it. Quick news in the NFL. Wanted to get to some of it just in case people don't know. Again, Drew Brees was put on the IR. He's going to at least miss 3 games. So that means Jameis Winston and Hill. Right now, Hill is the guy that's getting the start, the guy that can run the football. But reports have come out, according to insiders and everything, the Saints some of the players are wishing that Winston would be the starter in the game, mainly because of the fact that Hill is not necessarily the traditional quarterback. One of the things I look at is the 35 interceptions from last year. Makes it hard to pick that guy. But again, they picked him up to back up Drew Brees. They had Hill, but when you go get a Jameis Winston, it is the backup situation. They're not going to it. So interestingly enough, that's something that they're going to have to keep an eye on that as far as that is concerned. Some other news out there, the Raiders have activated 7 players off the COVID-19 list. They missed practice this week because of a high-risk close contact to a teammate that had the COVID there as well. The Chargers go ahead and put their leading tackler, Kaiser White, on the COVID-19 list, called up 3 players from the practice squad as well as on Saturday. Again, the Bengals go ahead and put Mixon on injured reserve as well. And the New England Patriots, they activate Sonny Mitchell off of the injured reserve and bring him in to add depth at the running back position behind Damon Harris, who Harris is a little bit nicked up as well. Teddy Bridgewater, that is the big question going up against the Lions. So the decision whether or not the sprained knee will keep him out is going to be huge. I'm still not taking the Lions. They've hurt, like DC Dennis Clark says, they have let me down way too many times. So, but
you're being polite.
Be polite. And but here's one thing: if Teddy Bridgewater can go, he will start, even if he is close. Patriots, Stephen Gilmore, the NFL leading and defending defensive player of the year, hinting that he will not be returning from a 3-game absence on Sunday when they take on the Houston Texans. Whether that's personal, that part I don't know. But every time when you get somebody talking like that, and the guy listen,
You are really messing with the wrong guy when you decide that you're just going to put yourself above the team. You are on the Patriots. You can find yourself. Listen, they won't cut Gilmore. He could end up on a different football team, and you never know where that could be. So look out for that. As far as that is concerned. And that's all of the news I think I had. Oh, there it is. The Seahawks. Greg Olsen left Thursday's game with a foot injury, and guess what? He may be out for a long time. This guy has got a history of foot injuries. All you got to do is go back and see what he did with the Panthers. Guy couldn't stay out on the football field because of this reason. And depending on which foot it is, I don't know. But if that is the case, he could be out for a while. So Seattle might have their eyes open for a tight end somewhere, seeing how they lost Greg Olsen. So that's going to take us into our next game that we have up on file here on the Couch Potato Sport. Green Bay Packers and Indianapolis Colts. What a game in reality, because normally you're looking at this game and Green Bay, and next game, please. No, you're not getting that. We talked about it for the last three to 4 weeks. Indianapolis actually has a defense. And that's what's been keeping them in games. That's what's been – when you got a guy like Phillip Rivers, you got to have a defense. If you're going to win football games, you got to have Phillip – and you have Phillip Rivers, you got to have a defense that can step up and do what they're doing. And they have. The offense is not the powerhouse of this football team. The defense is keeping them in there. They got the turnover ratios to prove it. And they've been keeping teams with low numbers out on the football field. Why? Well, Sonny, what do you mean? Well, the Indianapolis Colts, they are scoring 27 points a game. Green Bay scores 30, but the difference is Indianapolis is only giving up 20 points a game. But let's not forget that Indianapolis only gives up less than 20 points a game, but not with the quality that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are. So they're going to get a great big test there. So the difference on the other side is Green Bay gives up about 25 points a game, which is about what the Indianapolis Colts score per game. So looking at the numbers, they're quite even right down the middle in reality, almost on every stat except the rushing side, where they got about 15 yards per game difference. So really in reality, you're looking at two teams that are the same. The only difference is one that is a Hall of Fame quarterback in reality, and a guy that is on the bubble for the Hall of Fame, that being Phillip Rivers. So yeah, I see your pick, and looks like as far as where you're looking at is you're looking at a guy that Aaron Rodgers can take over the game and get the win. What do you think about this one?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer myself. When I saw the game, I immediately went Green Bay. I didn't even hesitate twice. So.
Yep. Would shock you that the Indianapolis Colts are only one game behind them in the total rankings. Green Bay 7-2, Indianapolis 6-3. In fact, they should be 7-2 as well. They pissed the game early away this season, so they're right there. So I agree with you. Normally, when you're looking at this game at Green Bay, next game, please. I didn't, but I actually looked at this game as far as what was going on. So what I asked myself, think about the matchups. And, I know you're not a matchup guy in reality, but you look at last week, the Green Bay Packers had a hard time with my football team last week, the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that was in part because the Packers insisted on trying to establish the run instead of really going after what they do best, which is obviously putting the ball in, the quarterback's hands. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for 300, 330 yards a game, and in this game as well, even though that the defense from the Colts is second in the league against the pass and third against the run. So they are definitely – so when you're looking at this game, I think this game could be, one of those special teams games play, a kick that gets out of control, or someone returns a kick, or something like that, that can be a part of the game because both sides of them are there. But Philip Rivers also, this is a guy that is in the point of his career where he wants people to think of him as a serious contender in the for the team that he plays on, and in this case in the AFC. All you got to do is go take a look, and we'll do it. We'll put the wild card standings up to where you can see it on the AFC side, as the Chargers are not anywhere near there. They're 7 out up on this season. Or mark that, I was looking at the wrong one. The Indianapolis Colts are holding on to the lead in the AFC South, so they got the home game with 6 victories. But look at all those numbers after that, though. All right. They're the ones at the 4th spot. You go all the way down to the 9th spot in reality with all those teams with 6 victories. So the Indianapolis Colts, if they somehow start losing football games and don't win their own division, they're in the same division with Tennessee. They're still in a battle of trying to make the top 7 spots in the playoffs. So Indianapolis, you can say, desperately needs this game because they got the same record as the Tennessee Titans. Whether or not the Titans beat Baltimore will be a big story. If they do, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Indianapolis going in to this game. Indianapolis plays in the afternoon. The Tennessee Titans play early. If Tennessee wins this football game, Indianapolis, will they fold to the pressure? And that's one of the I actually looked at that. It's like, well, can they keep going and play under pressure, knowing that if they don't win, they could maybe slide out of the wild card position? And that's what's up for grabs here today, Dennis.
Well, I'm telling you, it's right now at this point in the season is when it gets juicy.
Yes.
And everything just, you're licking your chops wondering what's going to happen in the next 3 games are probably going to determine what's going to happen, period. So it's definitely getting juicy. But the only thing that bothered me about last week's play, I thought it was slow. Oh, God, those games were boring.
Well, you had a hard time staying awake. I saw you drifting. I saw you drifting.
Man, I'm telling you, those games were just boring. I just hope there's a little bit more action this week. I really do.
Well, I think in this game you might see it because LaFleur last week again, of course, they were playing Jacksonville, and I think this was part of the game plan. They were forcing the run game because it was the Jaguars. They knew they were going to beat the Jaguars. That wasn't a hard – so what they started to do was LaFleur really put the emphasis on trying to run the football effectively so he can get to this point of the season and figure out how they're going to play. Like you said, the next 3 games are going to be huge, even for Green Bay, because Green Bay is known to have some really ugly games sometimes. So you never know when that's going to end up happening. Colts on the other side, they have a running game. Right now, Hines leads the Colts with 6 total touchdowns and also tops the teams with 4 receiving touchdowns as well. And by the way, he was excellent against Tennessee and could be the difference maker in this game for the Colts. However, I have a hard time looking at Hall of Fame quarterbacks and betting against them. Now, and again, you go back to Philip Rivers, he's arguably a Hall of Famer. So since he's arguably, he's not Aaron Rodgers. And even though that defense is good as it is, I'm going to go against it. And I know, you're on Green Bay. Bryce is on Indianapolis. Again, we're going to do rapid fire with Cuervo when he comes in here. We'll talk all the games, hopefully, when he comes in and get his picks. And Tarvin, of course, taking the lead. I'm going to tell you, I know Tarvin's probably going to go Indianapolis in this game. So look out for that because Tarvin has got some mad love for the Colts this year, more so than he has had in years behind. And it's because of the defense. They're top 5 in every category on the defensive side of the ball, which makes it, a tough one to pick.
I'm looking forward to beating Tarvin this week. Actually, I've got a little Trump in me. I'm kind of ashamed I'm losing. And
Oh, so you're saying that I need to recount?
I think
demanding the
there has
recount.
to be a clerical mistake. I'm going to call Rudy.
Yeah, call Rudy. Okay. Oh, recounts will cost you $100. So there you go.
$100. Give me a break, man. Give me a break.
So
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm going to scoot because I've got to get some vittles together for the football game. So I'm going to scoot out of here.
I know what I'm having. Right? All right, we'll catch you on the flip flop, and we got your picks.
Is it a round? Is it round?
No, not today. Not. And the only reason is I was too lazy to go to the store. So that is the reason why it is not. It is not pot pies today.
Not Popeyes today. I'm surprised.
No, not today. Not today. So we're gonna hang out.
Hopefully, we're gonna have some chicken probably or something.
Ooh, that sounds
good.
That
chicken
sounds
is good.
Well, get to work, man.
Like I told my wife last night, I go eating chicken 3 days before Thanksgiving. It's kind of what are you doing?
I eat it all the time, so it's no big deal. In fact, I went out and instead of getting ham, I bought turkey for the sandwiches and stuff. So,
well, yeah, you got to when it's 39 cents a pound.
No. I bought the deli stuff. So I did.
Oh yeah.
We get a turkey every year at work, so I got that all set and it's defrosting. Just today,
you already got a turkey at your office.
I do. I got the turkey all set and ready to go. Well,
what's his name?
Wife. So she's gonna cook it, so I don't have to. Man, if it takes too much effort for me to cook it, I ain't doing it. That's just boiling water.
You throw it in a bag and you cook it for 100 years.
Yeah,
and you open it up at 5 o'clock and eat.
Well, that too, I was actually thinking about making beans today, because I woke up at 4 o'clock and I figured they'd be really good at noon, but I forgot I didn't soak them last night, so that makes it kind of hard.
Boil them, baby, boil them.
Nah. Crock pot. That's what it's for. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm having beans tomorrow.
By the way, here's my latest acquisition. You can't really see it that well.
It's a speaker.
It's a speaker, but this thing is massive. As you can see, it's 10 feet tall or 10 inches tall, and it's from Creative Labs. And the only reason I
the message.
The reason I got them is I was missing something with my Bose that I kind of missed when I had my other speakers up, is I had no control over the tone and the treble. And this one, I've got independent knobs for that, and it's got 2 inputs in it, so it's pretty nice. I mean, they sound real nice. Neighbors let me know yesterday that they sound okay.
Well, hey, if they think it sounds good from the other side, you did good. All right, then.
Yeah, here was their. They told me this way that.
They're flying the bird on you, huh?
Yeah, they flew the bird on me, and I think it was because I was playing Tijuana Taxi by Herb Alpert.
Well, that's probably it. Yeah. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. That is a Clark guilty pleasure. That's for sure.
Oh, you ain't kidding. All right, I will see you a little later.
Later on, we'll catch you on the flip, as that is DC Dennis Clark in second place. Yes, that's right. So that being said, of course, we are here. I like Green Bay. Just more on the fact that Hall of Fame quarterback. I know we're seeing a lot on the defensive side of the ball for Indianapolis. Guess what? It's been good for a long, long time. So guess what? I'm going to go on the other side and say, well, maybe not this time. So they've been playing well for a long time. So we'll see what ends up happening on that as far as that is concerned. You're listening to the Couch Potato Sports Show again on Thursday. Join us at 9:30. We might even change that time, and that will depend upon where Cuervo is, because I think he's going to be driving from one place to another. So we'll find out what time is good for that. I tentatively have it set up for 9:30 for us to kick that one off. So we're looking forward to that one. Our yearly tradition continues on. It is the holiday, but hey, we got to talk some football. So, again, hopefully Cuervo will be getting with us here in just a moment. As far as getting back with the show, we are going to take another break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Number one, I'm hot. I gotta get the temperature in the studio a little bit better for me, because as you can see, my face is turning red. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna get the temperature in here, and we'll do that. We'll take the quick break. We'll be right back.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. We specialize in everything that others don't, such as stained concrete floors, wood spot repairs on doors and floors, stainless steel spot repairs, anti-slip on floors, and more. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607. That's 214-536-2607. Or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. We strive to always meet and exceed customers' expectations, competency, and accountability, as well as satisfaction. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Costco Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Costco Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostcoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com.
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Whether you want real Texas brisket, Virginia ham, southern pulled pork, or fall-off-the-bone ribs, Dickey's Barbecue is the place to go. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Karen McKinney of Budget Blinds of Rowlett. Find a little inspiration by browsing our product, whether it be the latest trends, child safety, or smart home technology, and more. Contact Karen McKinney at 972-722-9300 or visit her on the web at budgetblinds.com/ Rowlett. You can also learn who they are, as well as their approach and products, and you can also schedule a free home consultation. Again, contact Karen at 972-722-9300 or log online, budgetblinds.com/Rowlett.
Potato Sports Show. We'll fly this last half hour here. Hopefully we'll hear from Cuervo. We'll do some rapid picks for him as well. Just to give you an update, the Panthers are going to start P.J. Walker at the quarterback position. Teddy Bridgewater will not be playing, so look out for that. That's a situation there, and makes me almost want to maybe change my pick, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it because I only picked Carolina because of Teddy Bridgewater. So I am going to go and change my pick, and I'm letting everybody know up on the Facebook page that I am officially changing my pick as far as that is concerned. So everybody will know within our group, because I did initially pick Carolina. I am going to go Detroit in that one. So there it is. And I'm going to put the note in as far as that. PJ Walker is going to get the start for the Panthers. It's the start for the Panthers. And I'm going to see if anybody wants to change. And I'm putting that down. Their pick. All right, there we go. I did. I am on Detroit. All right, very good. So I'm letting everybody know that it's before the game and what it is now. I did go ahead and make my pick. I switched to Detroit. PJ Walker. I don't feel confident in a guy that, I know who he is. I've seen him play, and just nothing that's on there that makes me feel really, really good at all. Again, some guys that are in the injury. Drew Brees out for 3 weeks. Teddy Bridgewater will probably be playing next week. Stafford has that problem within his tendon. That is huge as far as that is concerned. Drew Lock for the Denver Broncos has a rib injury. Andy Dalton has the concussion. The Cowboys activated Andy Dalton from the COVID thing on Wednesday. So full practice in his return, and he is starting for the Dallas Cowboys as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Minnesota Vikings. And that is the next game that is up on board here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And this one was a tough one in reality because we're getting Andy Dalton back. And I want to be so bad up on Minnesota, but I'm going to tell you right now, Minnesota is coming back. They are playing so much better than what they have been playing in the past. So when you're looking at Minnesota, I like what we've been getting from Minnesota. My only question about Minnesota and what they can and cannot do is will they do it? Okay? Because Andy Dalton comes back, at least for this game. So that means that they should at least get in something that resembles an offense, okay? A competent quarterback, something they weren't getting from Garrett Gilbert, okay? As you look at those things, lost to Pittsburgh. Dallas has the problems of a lot of teams, but when you get a guy like Andy Dalton back out on the football field, that can raise the Dallas Cowboys up. Listen, I don't want to pick I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't like the direction that I've seen Minnesota actually go into. I had them last in this division for a reason, and I don't know if it's because the defense is catching up with the head coach's son taking over the defense. I don't know. That was my fear as far as where I felt that the Minnesota Vikings were. So I was scared of that pick in reality, but in reality, you got what is going to happen with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has been really kind of crazy against teams that don't have a good defense. And the Dallas Cowboys defense, when you look at it, you ask yourself the question, in reality, do the Dallas Cowboys have a good defense? Either, Al. I just don't see where it's going to happen. In fact,
that was terrible. Crazy knuckleheaded terrible.
They're terrible, and I don't know if you can depend or pick the Dallas Cowboys. Not because that Andy Dalton can score. I can see the Dallas Cowboys scoring 24 points and losing this football game because of the defense. And the simple fact of the matter is that it's a football team that is not in, altogether. Now, it has nothing to do with anything. The Dallas Cowboys are just not a good football team. Look where they are in the division, pretty much last in the division. And right now, the Giants are primed to go in to first place if the Philadelphia Eagles lose and they win today. But I think the Giants are actually on the bye. So Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity to move up within their own division of football. They need a win. But that's the thing. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, when they're desperate for a win, they don't get it. They're just not good. Again, Philadelphia, not good. Giants, not good. Between the three of them, okay, no one's got more than 4 victories. Not even 4 for any of them. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's pull it up and see where the division holds there. Philadelphia is leading the division at 3-5-1. Dallas, if you look at the NFC side, you don't see them even in contention. And there in the 13th spot is New York. They're primed to move to number 4 because the division leaders and division champions get the top 4 spots. So if Philadelphia loses, they fall out of that, and that will be huge for them in reality. They'll still hold on to that spot even if they lose because of the tie, but New York will be right there. So the Giants are definitely rooting for not the Eagles today. The Eagles, who are they playing? Philly, are they on the road? Philadelphia's playing. I did it earlier here. Yeah, they're playing Cleveland. Very easy game that they can turn around. Now, I picked Philadelphia in the game. So that if they get the victory, that'll definitely help them in there. But in reality, you can't count out the Giants. You can't stick a fork in them. I have stuck a fork. Yes, look at that. I have stuck a fork into the Chicago Bears. Look where they are. Now they're on the outside looking in on the top 7. Listen, in Arizona, they're going to win more games. Hell, I don't know if the Chicago Bears are going to win any more games. Bears are on the bye. So not only that, if Minnesota gets the win, they're going to be at 5-5 and move ahead of the Chicago Bears. If Detroit wins, they're going to be 5-5 and move ahead of them. We can see a major collapse of the Chicago Bears. All because they're not playing this week. And listen, say whatever you want. Detroit's got a chance to beat the Panthers. I got them. I picked them. Okay, Minnesota obviously has an opportunity to beat Dallas. In fact, so much so, I'm taking Minnesota. Looks like everybody else is taking Minnesota. Hopefully we'll get from Cuervo here as we got the last 20 minutes where I have to go into a major rapid fire with him if we can get him in here. So that is huge. So look out for that one. Should be an interesting game as well. That is in the afternoon. By the way, 4 afternoon games for Red Zone instead of 3 or 2, which is at least something they can move from 4 games. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We're going to move on, and we're going to head into the next game that is up on because now, I don't have a lot to say about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Raider game. I'm going to be on Kansas City. Just they're a better football team. The Raiders are not a great football team, although they're trying to prove that they are. They're in the 5th spot in the AFC as far as the thing is concerned, as far as the standings are concerned in the wild card. So they got something to play for. Let me bring that back up so you can take a look at it. As far as where they are, the Raiders are right now on the outside. They're in that number 5 spot, so they got a lot to play for. Kansas City 8-1 out on the season. Last time the Raiders did beat them, that one is from the Raiders. And not only that game they won out on the road. So the Raiders are at home. Again, nobody going to be in stands over there in Las Vegas. So that's another thing to keep an eye out on, just to let you know. And I got Brian, and I got Brian's picks as well. So Brian is going to be on Kansas City as well. So that's good to see out there. I put it out as far as the Detroit game, and yes, even Brian Tarvin, he is on the Detroit Lions as well. So let's go over that as far as where Brian is, and then we'll get back to this game. Brian Tarvin, he's going to take the New Orleans Saints over Atlanta with Hill starting. That should be really interesting where he is. And I was right about the Colts. So he is on the Indianapolis Colts. I knew he would be. He's got some mad love for the Indianapolis Colts, who are, if I'm not mistaken, yes, they are at home against Green Bay. I think that's a really ballsy pick. He's on the Baltimore Ravens over the Tennessee Titans. And he's also on Philly, as I went ahead and I went and picked the Philadelphia Eagles today as well. Let's see, there's Philly, and on the other side, Cincinnati and Washington. He's going ahead. He's taking the Washington football team. He's on the Chargers as well, and he's also, I knew he'd be on Miami, so he is on Miami over Denver. Miami, and he's on Minnesota, the team that I just picked just this last game. Let's see here. Chiefs in, okay, got that. Minnesota, I'm missing a game. There he is. He's on the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And let's see here. New England Patriots. See, I don't see the Patriots game. Let's see. Yeah, he's on New England in that game as well. So he was on Arizona on Thursday, Baltimore, Detroit, Pittsburgh, New England, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Washington, Miami, the Chargers, Indianapolis, Minnesota, Kansas City, and Tampa Bay are the picks for Moen Cuervo. I got to keep my eye out for Tarvin. Keep my eye out for Cuervo coming into it. But Kansas City and the Raiders, listen, the Raiders have been a great story this year. Interestingly enough, they've won enough football games. Again, they're sitting right there at 6-3 on the outside looking in within the division. So interesting. This could be a good game. Something to watch for. I think should the excitement. Now, I don't know. When I look at games, okay, and Kansas City they're just that good. Okay, and now also they get a chance to avenge their only loss so far this year, even though they are on the road. Las Vegas won the first matchup again. It's kind of fluky in reality when you think about it, but that could be Kansas City just not taking them seriously enough at the time that they were playing them. They will have a different thought about it, I would think. So you think about it, they would be 9-0 right now if they took that one seriously. So now, looking the way it looks like with Pittsburgh, they'll probably go to 10-0. They're going to be battling, right now, the Steelers for that one spot for the one team that gets the bye, not 2 this year because they stretched it to 7. So look out for that. They really cannot afford to fall 2 games behind the Steelers if they're going to wrap that one up. So you think about the Raiders. The Raiders can score in reality. No one, seems to even have an answer for that as far as that's concerned. So what would make them dangerous in reality is that they can somehow force some turnovers in this game, like they did in order to get the victory last time. So how does that happen? You think about last week, Drew Lock, just not a great football team. He's no Patrick Mahomes, but you just get him into a situation where that they can turn the ball over. Also, Las Vegas has scored 40 to win their first matchup in the game, and they've been averaging 26 points a game as well in this recent streak that they're winning on. So, they're going to have to score some points in this game too, because you look at what the Chiefs are capable of. Mahomes, listen, he's been outstanding, just like we all thought he would. Okay, he's leading in the NFL candidate, to win the MVP, right there with some other guys, Russell Wilson and a few others. So, but in reality, the only way that you're going to make Patrick Mahomes make a mistake is if he feels pressure. And that could be pressure from being behind or being pressured on the rush. So when you think about what's going to end up happening as far as the team is concerned, Kansas City will put a stranglehold on the AFC West and then keep pace with the Steelers with a win today. But the Raiders, it's safe to say they're not going to force 5 turnovers this week in reality, because that's been their bread and butter. But and if they do it, they will stop Patrick Mahomes. But controlling the ball, Josh Jacobs having a big game would go a long way if they're not going to get the turnovers. And the turnovers are going to be a big part of the story. I'm telling you right now. So again, look where they are. Raiders primed to make the playoffs. But they're also, you look at it, if you count Indianapolis as the division winners, they are one of 7 teams that have 6 victories in the AFC. So, and vying for playoff spots. So I look at this game as a must-win for the Raiders, and I don't know if that's good for them, especially going up against the Chiefs. Chiefs are just that good. And they've always been that good, by the way. Just with the addition of Patrick Mahomes, they turned into a total different football team. And they have been, it seems like week after week when they get in a little trouble, well, guess what? Kansas City normally is not having that problem. But Kansas City's on the road in this game. Again, I don't think this is anything for the Kansas City Chiefs to worry about in reality. But when the division it's not even about the division now. It's about playoff spots. Where are they going to be in playoff spots? Can they make the difference? And I don't know if that's going to be something that will be on the side of the Raiders. Listen, the Raiders are good. They got Chucky. Chucky's trying, I guess, if you want to say, bring them together. You look at Sunday Night Football. It always features pretty good teams, and that's what they get here. And Derek Carr has really been good. So you think about that was week 5, I think, with that the Raiders were taking on the Chiefs, 40-32. Beat them in Kansas City. So now again, traveling on the road, I don't worry about Patrick Mahomes on the road. I don't worry about Patrick Mahomes in general. But here's what I do know is Patrick Mahomes hasn't lost a primetime game yet in 2020. He is going 3-0, lights out, just playing the best football that he's been playing. 9 touchdowns in prime time as well. No interceptions in prime time as well. The Raiders, in reality, are going to have to really lean up on Josh Jacobs because Derek Carr is not Patrick Mahomes. So, looking at the game, it's not a hard one in reality to pick, as far as who's going to win. But I think it could be an interesting game. Everybody's on Kansas City right now, which sometimes makes me tempt to go the other way. But Kansas City is just that good. Kansas City knows what they want to do in order to get the bye. They're going to have to figure out a way to beat the Steelers. And the Steelers are probably going to win today. They got the Jaguars. Hell, anybody can beat the Jaguars right now. So, and they're going to improve to 10-0. So, interestingly enough, I think that could be something that you look at in these games and be okay with taking Kansas City. But some folks will take that risk. They'll take that stretch and grab it up and decide to go, well, maybe we can go. Maybe we can pick the Raiders. Listen, if the Raiders win, would it surprise me? Not necessarily. But I will say this, that Patrick Mahomes is a bad man and has a habit of finding what he needs when he needs it in order to win a football game. All you got to do is go back to the playoff game where the Houston Texans had them beat and they refused to go away. And that's not good at all in reality, at least for them anyway. So watch out for that one. I think this one should be a good one. And whether or not you're a believer in Kansas City, that's fine. But here's what I will say. You cannot be a believer in Kansas City, but I will tell you it'd be a mistake. They're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I'm not going to say they're going to win the AFC Championship, but they're going to be in that game. I'll think about that more as we get closer to that game. They could be a favorite for that game in reality. But, interestingly enough, with that victory last time in Kansas City, you really cannot count the Raiders out of the game. So keep your eyes and ears open for that one. That should be really interesting. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. It takes us to the last game up on board. It is the Rams and Tampa Bay Monday Night Football. And I looked at that one immediately. I'm saying I'm going Tampa Bay. But the Rams, I'm telling you right now, had a good outing. Let me just go to that. Who'd they play? I was on the Rams last week, and I think I was the only one on the Rams. Actually, Bryce was on the Rams as well. They played Seattle. So right now, Tarvin, the boss, DC Dennis Clark, and Bryce are on Tampa Bay. But I'm kind of questioning that one. I mean, listen, he is the GOAT. No question, he is the GOAT. And the Rams, with that victory against Seattle, changed their season. They went to 6-3, made it clear that they're a contender in the AFC West because they still had the opportunity. Now, Seattle gets the victory against Arizona, puts pressure on them to continue to go. And listen, say whatever you want, okay? Seattle historically's pass defense has been a burden, and Jared Goff took advantage of it and got the victory. Listen, Tampa Bay is not that much better defensively in reality. In fact, if anything, it might be a little worse. But Tampa Bay's defense still ranks 8th in the league in points allowed and 1st against the run, which, by the way, they don't necessarily do a lot of being the Rams. So the Rams, they're a pretty good defense too. They're the second best scoring defense in the league. They're third against the pass. But now we got a little drama with Antonio Brown before he signed and about some stupid camera. I don't even care about that. Knocked over one of the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. It just shows he's an idiot, and everybody knows he's an idiot. That's no surprise to anybody. But will that leak out onto the football field? And the Rams, Cooper Kupp, I think, needs to show up this game. He's only got 2 touchdowns on the season. But I will tell you, they need to find this guy and get him part of it because, listen, you think about the running game, all right, and Tampa Bay's ability to stop the running game, Cooper Kupp is going to be a big part of this game. Shipley will start in the place of Marpet. He's going to be starting there. And those that know, Pittsburgh native and Aaron Donald, I don't know. I think Aaron Donald is just going to tear up that offensive line. I think this one's going to be a big shot. And I think the Rams are going to make a statement. You know, those are statement games. Games where you go out and say, look, this is what I'm going to do here. And I'm sorry, I had the wild card page up on that. But this is what we're going to do. And watch out for us. So, interestingly enough, I got to move that over. Sorry about that. You know, I'm on the Rams today. And I think Aaron Donald should be huge as far as that's concerned, as he's going up against a guy that has never seen anything like an Aaron Donald. And that could be huge for them as far as that's concerned. Field position is going to be a big part of this game as well. So, but one thing I'll go ahead and I'll back this up just a little bit, okay, and say he's the GOAT. And really, that's all you have to say sometimes is, I'm the GOAT. When you're talking, you know, the teams, when you talk about those things. So look out for that. Now, guys, we've rolled through 3 hours. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Cuervo in here in time for a rapid fire. I think he's just going to send over his picks here as he's in the middle of having some family time. He drove cross country to see his mom. So obviously we give him the pass to miss on today's, but hopefully he'll get his picks in here a little bit later on. But let's roll over my picks again. I'm in the cellar, but maybe I'll move up this week. I had a good week last week. I had Seattle on Thursday night, so I start off a little bit ahead of Bryce and Tarvin. Cuervo had Seattle as well as DC Dennis Clark. I'm on Tennessee as they take on Baltimore in Baltimore. I'm taking the Detroit Lions after I find out that the Panthers are going to start P.J. Walker at the quarterback position. I don't feel comfortable regardless. I will go ahead and take Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions to complete the save of Matt Patricia's job. Philly is in Cleveland. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on the side of Philadelphia. New England is in Houston. I went ahead and took Superman. I don't know. I don't know if Houston is just that bad. And this is a team that has given up. J.J. Watts has given up. J.J. Watts wants to be on a different football team. And right now, Houston Texans are wishing they listened to Sonny Clark and Cuervo 3 to 4 years ago, saying they should have traded him when they could have got value for him. Now they're not going to get jack squat. So New England, I am on over the Houston Texans. Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, I'm obviously on Pittsburgh. I took the Atlanta Falcons over New Orleans. Some of the players are a little bit miffed about Hill getting the start at the quarterback besides Jameis Winston. That was the latest in the news as far as that was concerned. Cincinnati over Washington in Washington. I am taking Cincinnati. I'm taking Denver over Miami, and not because I'm going to bet against Tua. I'm going to bet against the altitude. Next week, who knows? Maybe I'll change my pick. If this game goes to Miami, I might have to really look and see where the Dolphins are with Tua. I'm on the Chargers over the Jets. I think everybody is. Yes, they are. And Green Bay and Indianapolis. And, tempting as it may be that I wanted to maybe pick Indianapolis, it's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers. If this game gets into the fourth quarter and Aaron Rodgers has the ball, listen, he'll figure out a way to get it done. Minnesota and Dallas kind of wanted to take Dallas because we're going to see Andy Dalton back at the quarterback position tonight as he comes off of the concussion protocol as well as the COVID protocol. So he'll be back in the starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys. Will it matter? Don't think so. Defense picking up for Minnesota. They might just have Andy Dalton for lunch. Hell, who knows? Kansas City over the Raiders. It is Kansas City. They are 8-1 out on the season. The only loss to the Raiders at home. So that will be an interesting game as well. And then again, I'm taking the Rams against Tampa Bay. The Couch Potato Sports Show being brought to you here every Sunday. That being said, we'll kick it off at 9 o'clock. On Thursday, Thanksgiving, we will kick it off at 9:30 tentatively. It may change. That will depend upon Cuervo's schedule, where he is, and who knows how long that show will go for. We are under no time restraint. We'll just continue and probably talk about the games that happened this week on Thursday, as well as look at the games that are set for us on that one. So it should be interestingly enough. So that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show as we got through 3 hours here up on the show. Always thank Bryce for joining us. He gets in here with us in the first hour as of late. He joined us at the end last time, but we get him for the full hour, which is always good to see Bryce from Brooklyn for joining us here. So for Cuervo, I'm Sonny Clark. We're going to kick it on out of here. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for joining us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We will see you next time on week number 12. Will Sonny move out of the basement? We'll find out. Everybody have a good day. Enjoy the games. Bye-bye.